Hello and welcome. It's time for Roller Wiener Monday and New Hours of Service Monday. Holy mackerel, they go into effect in tonight, right? Midnight. So are you ready for that? Yikes. Get your wieners out and let's get ready for it. Here's the other thing. Here, GATS has been canceled for 2021 already. They already canceled it for next year. What do you think about that? There's yet another lawsuit settlement for unpaid wages, that type of thing. In California, no emission trucks by 2045, meaning in 2045, you'll not be able to purchase a truck that emits any emissions in the state. You can still buy them used, but no new trucks. Are you using these electronic bills yet? I've seen this. And there's some stocks, of course, as usual, but mostly hours of service today. People had tons of questions, and people at my company had questions. Everywhere, everybody's got questions. So Fleet Nav Systems was first the other day. Oh, yes, early, very early for them, but that's okay. So we can do that, and let's see what we're doing here as I turn this. Oh, there, that's better. And then I'll transition that. All right, and today Misty was first today, so that's great. It's good to see you. Ray the Man is here today. Kelly is here today. Let's see, George H.W. Bush. President Bush is here. I love it. Welcome to the President. Cassius King Trucking is in the house, as the kids say. Trucker Hershey, what's going on? Let's see here. Christina is here today. Where am I going? Luke, what's going on? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, and I see that the leaves are falling, and I'm not happy about that. Eddie McFadden, hello. Chris Keller, good morning. Good morning. Roger Penske, what's happening out there? No leaves falling out there. It's still 300 degrees. Mark is here today. Paul Harris, you almost missed it, but hey, you're here, and that's what matters today. Dave Johnson, what's going on? Geeks Trucking, it's good to see you. Where you been? How's it going out there? FTC is here. Yikes. Hopefully not to investigate. Keto Walk Get Fit, what's happening? You're not first, but not last. That's all that matters, right? As long as you're not last, you're almost first. Roy, what's happening today? It's good to see you. FU, love it. Chris Keller. Let's see, it's recalled 1,100 trucks. Yeah, Volvo's also recalling a bunch of trucks when they listed so many different models. I just can't write them all down. Look, if you have a recent Volvo, 2020 to 2021, I think, call a Volvo dealer with your VIN. It's on the door jamb. And just give them that if you think you might have a recall. It's something about the brake thing or whatever. So that's easy. Just call them up. They listed like 800,000 different models. So Handsome Poochie, hello. Trucker John, what's happening? Let's see. Where did I go off to here? I really lost my spot, which I do all the time. Lady Trucker, hello. Ricky is here. Joshua Hunt, it's going great here. Zero emissions is impossible. Well, I see, right. I see what you mean. They mean zero emissions out of a tailpipe. So it's what they're saying. No internal combustion, no diesel. Cars are 2035 in California. No passenger vehicle. That's how they put it. Passenger vehicle, no emissions passenger vehicle. So no internal combustion passenger vehicles. You can actually emit, like hydrogen vehicles will be allowed, like the Mirai from Toyota and that kind of thing. But otherwise, no. So Fleet Nav Systems is here. You were first the other day. I love it. Joe, hello from Florida. Alpha's here. Watch those cats. So much for subscribing. You're officially our 200 subscriber. All right. To Kelly, that's pretty awesome. Love your channel. Brother from the Middle East. Trucker for life. All right. What's happening out there? Wow. International trucking. Keto. I lost 100 pounds on keto. That's awesome. Just lift axle, suspensions falling off. Yeah, yikes. Training my first person right out of school. Geeks Trucking. All right. Already a trainer. Look at you go. I haven't seen you say anything out there for a while. That's why I'm seeing what you're doing. So it's good to see you back. Let's see. They're watching me. Yeah, right. Hello from North Carolina, Bill. It's good to see you here. Greetings from Portland, sunny and 70. That's about all it's going to hit today. We're going to be in the 30s later this week, and I'm not happy about that. Yikes, electric trucks will be too heavy. Well, will they or not? You're not going to have an engine in them. So you have to consider, people think, all these batteries, but no engine. And that engine must weigh hundreds of kilometers or whatever they use to weigh that kind of stuff. But seriously, I mean, the engine is super heavy, so you won't have that. So I don't know if the truck will weigh more or not. I haven't actually seen specs on the Tesla truck on what it weighs. I'd really like to see that. They're driving some of them around. So what does the thing weigh? And, for some local operations like, Styrofoam Trucking Incorporated or whatever, it won't be any problem. It depends on what you haul. Dry van is boring as crap. He's trucking. Yeah, but that's where the loads are, right? Boring. All jobs are boring. So But yeah, depending what you're doing, it can be very boring. Fortunately, you get to meet new and exciting people at the docks now. Chris Keller, same with hydrogen. Kenworth built a hydrogen day cab with manual. Weighs 25,000 pounds for a day cab, short wheelbase. Wow. But depending what you're hauling, right, that wouldn't be a problem. That will not be a problem, depending what you're hauling. But a hydrogen truck still needs an engine, so it still needs more stuff, right? So I don't know about that. Which school is better for CDL school? Ivy Tech in Muncie or C1 in Indianapolis? Oh, I don't know about that. C1's been open a long time. They're always looking for trainers, though. If you ever look at that, Christina, go to Indianapolis Craigslist. Almost every day, C1 down there in Indianapolis runs ads for driver trainers. So I think they just had one Friday, as a matter of fact. I saw another ad. So I don't know if that's good or not. At least Ivy Tech, is a regular named school in the state. So Roger Penske's going to get a new hip on November 3rd. Is that from the accident, or did you need one anyway? Tucker Hershey, 1 p.m. today? No, I'm rolling, right? I should be, all the numbers look good here. So, Misty had to lose weight and your tummy stuck out past your boobs, right? It's just the opposite for men. So, when it goes the opposite for men, that's when we hit the diet program. Show me the bunny. Right, exactly. That's what you'll be doing there, right? Sean Daniels, hello from Seattle, Washington. By the way, where'd that student go to truck school? How'd they get through truck school right now? I heard a lot of them are, everybody's hiring and everything. Kelly, for electric trucks, you could potentially use nuclear batteries if they develop the tech better. Oh, right. That would be something. That'd be really something. That is eventually the future, right? That thorium-powered car or whatever. I'd like to see solar cars. I would like to see that. Really, you could use batteries if they had way more range. A Tesla really only has a couple of gallons worth of energy, a couple of gallons of gasoline of energy in the car. If they could just double that, it would be incredible. Hey, forever young truckers keeping America great. We do try to do that. Christina, yeah, I don't know, but Ivy Tech, they don't do it here. They do it at most of the Ivy Techs, not the ones here in Lafayette. But the truck school there is. C1, I've never looked at reviews of C1. They do hire trainers all the time, and I don't know if that's great or not. Maybe just they don't pay the trainers much, but they're all good trainers. I don't know. Chris, to put in perspective, my short wheelbase 2013 Volvo with a 30-foot frameless dump weighs 28,000 pounds altogether. Right, exactly. It's going to be heavy, but, for ping pong ball trucking, it's not going to be a problem. It's still me, Mark Fu, but the mark is silent now. All right, keep changing. I love it. Supposed to be a cat pic. It won't let pictures go through because I have that thing clicked because I don't know what people are putting pictures up on. You just never know what kind of picture people would put up there, so I don't think those work. Will the new electric trucks have a USB port on the outside to charge them up? Hopefully USB 3.0 port. They're going to have the same kind of plug as a car or whatever. There'll be a gigantic plug, and you plug them into probably 440 to charge a semi up. That's what I think. Roger Penske, not from the accident. Oh, you've had a bad knee, made the hip bad. Knee to follow because of a poor gait. And so, yeah, good. Get all that stuff new. You'll be like a new person. You'll be like Steve Austin. Big Berry Blueberry Man. Good to catch you live today. It's good to see you. Ergo Video Oasis. Where should your TAMs be in your load is very heavy? Wherever they're legal. So, right? Seriously, whatever makes the load legal. Solar trucks will work until you get stuck in a blizzard and freeze to death. Well, that is a problem. What if you had solar all across the top of the trailer and truck, and that would be enough to run the truck all day? There's no reason you couldn't do that. And keep the batteries charged, and then the batteries could run it overnight. It's a possibility in the future if we could get the solar better. Geeks Trucking, my trainee went to the same school you did and worked at the same IT job. Huh. So you're just going back to where you worked and basically raiding the place for new drivers. I love it. That's pretty good. You guys should have a lot to talk about. You can work on Bitcoin mining. Cash is King Trucking, what's happening? C1 to me is a driver mill, Joshua. I went there and didn't learn anything except how to pass the test. Well, I will say this. Look, when I went to truck school, that's all they did too. Okay, they told us, look, we're here to get you your license so you can get a job and, continue with your life, basically. And when I went, it was really 13 actual days. You went 2 full weeks, that's 10 days, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday you took the test. People that didn't pass the test stayed and got to retake it on Friday. I think there was only one person, though. Almost everybody passed it Thursday, so you had 13 days of class, and then took the test. And they said, look, you'll learn all this stuff later. We're getting you your license. That's what the truck school was, to get you your license. So I don't know if that's anything good or not, you know. And then I didn't have any training. I went to work. So the Tesla truck is only good for 300 to 500 miles. That is correct, right? It has a limited range. They said to start with, it'll be good for local companies because you'll be able to install a plug at your own company and you can go around, like Chicago or New York City or whatever on electric and then come back and plug in. So yes, that's where it'll start. But, cars start out like that too. Leafs, not that long ago, had a 100-mile range on them. Now you get a 400-mile Tesla car, and they have superchargers everywhere. So I think that the technology is coming. Daycab Gear Jammer, good morning. First day as a non-trucker feels weird, not constantly vibrating. What are you doing instead of vibrating? I went to 2 trucking schools inquiring about a job. They pay a bit more than minimum wage. Dave Johnson. When I see a truck school where the instructors are certainly home every day and not even have to haul freight and stuff, and they run ads constantly, I got to think, it doesn't pay much. They don't put their pay in the ad either. For information, call us 7 to 4 every day, same schedule, and they run ads all the time. Got to be a problem with the place. Bitcoin remote proxy changes, right? Exactly. Charge extra. Oh, sorry. See, I don't know anything about that. You two guys can geek out about that in there. Online schooling means I get to go through 6th grade again. See you later. All right. Isn't that great? I seriously wonder how far you could get on call before charging, especially considering I-5 is 700 miles. Well, the thing is, they could have chargers along the way, right? They could have superchargers along the way. I will slide my tandem to the rear to load if the trail is over 35. Put in mud flaps at the rear of the pallets in the trailer. Yeah, that's a good place to start, and then scale it, right? I usually scale at 40-ish, depending. If you have the same truck all the time, then you kind of know it better. If you're changing trailers, then I agree. In the 30s, start scaling the load. That's the best way to do it. Eyeball it, scale it. Working on some neat projects and new resources here. All right, I'm waiting to see it. Have you seen the Lucid Air car? They're based out of Hayward, California, and built in Arizona. No. What is the deal with that one? A Tesla will feel different with the wheel in the middle. It probably would, but I don't see why that's a problem. I mean, maybe that's better. You get better visibility on both sides. You get used to it. You get used to it. The heavier the load, hills and cold weather will drain batteries. Absolutely. I mean, the energy draw, climbing hills and stuff is incredible. They always talk about, it'll be, 8 seconds to 60. Yeah, 3 times and you're out of juice. I mean, it uses all kinds of energy. Kenneth got your CDL in 1991, no truck school. Dock trailers where I worked, the tested first time on the road, only had the freight father and 2 sons. Yeah, that's a lot of people back then. That's already in the day. That's how it was done. That's correct. Online CDL school and from the fake news network, FNN, learn trucking on your phone. Some of them are doing remote learning and stuff like that. They're doing the classroom parts remotely. I've already seen that, yeah. You like your local routes and the physical activity is good for you, Misty. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to move around. I miss the streams. I miss your streams too, Fleet Nav System. Let's get those streams back on, even though I haven't been able to get on them. Hopefully I'll be driving soon. Got to go back to school. We have new drivers. Not last week due to the hard work. They should put it in the ad, certainly, and not be shy about telling people about it because you don't want to go through the problem, and they might do it. I'm not saying they don't do it. But they, you don't want to be shy about that so that people understand that coming in, hey, this is hard work. And so you're going to leave, look, I'll tell you this, we get new drivers that don't last long and we don't do any work. So don't feel bad about that. I don't know if it's the work or just the people that you're getting. Luke keeps your tandems 4 pins from all the way forward. 90% of the times it's perfect. Most loads are okay. You get an idea of where they go. Lucid was founded by the former VP of Tesla. It's a higher-end electric car. Runs 9.2s in the quarter. Yeah, you know how much energy that takes to do that? That's the thing of it. People do that, right? And Teslas, what is one of the biggest problems people have with Teslas, their complaints, especially with the Model S? Tire wear. They wear the tires out from all the torque. So Goodyear is already developing new tires for them. Midlife Trucker Trucking with Tom Bell, one of the longest names on YouTube. Keep in mind the train locomotives are electric and they're diesel-electric hybrids. That's true, right. Trains are diesel-electric hybrids, have been for years. We still use steam, but that is true. Amtrak does too, I think. Didn't know you were looking to get back on the road. Good luck. Christina claimed 400-mile range. Yeah, 400-mile-ish range. Unless you don't use the air, lights, a heat, or anything else, radio, and go 48, exactly. Jerry Albano, have a good week. Yeah, you too. Chef Matt, good morning from Washington, the state, not Washington, the not state. They tell you when they tell you when they interview the new drivers. Good. I mean, before they come in, they should say, look, here's the deal. It's this much work. It's going to be hard work. Absolutely, they should do that. Who does that around here? I've seen that in their ad. I think it seems like CVS in Indianapolis runs ads, and it's through M&M on a different company, but they run ads, and I think in their ads it says, look, this is work. You're going to unload the truck at each stop, and it's going to be hard work, so expect it, which is good. Fleet Nav's going to have another stream next month. Good. I'll email when they get it scheduled. Hoping to be in a place to stream more often again sometime early-ish next year. All right. Yeah. Get a good place. Get in with a company that uses Geotab. Always use Geotab. Is Geotab going to update tonight? Let's ask Fleet Nav Systems. How's that going to work with everybody's ELD? Will they just automatically change over at midnight? What'll happen? The trade-off is I'm on track to make 80 grand. Exactly. So more work, more money. Mo money. That's what kids say, right? I'm going to work in a 10 lug conservation for Tesla's conversation. Then you could run super singles and get all kinds of tire life. Oh, very good. Who's ready for the so-called debate tomorrow night? Is there a debate? Am I in a debate? I went to TDI trucking school. They covered parallel parking, but not alley docking. Oh, that's brilliant. I don't know if we did parallel parking at the test. I can't remember. I think so. I think they had cones set up. I think that we did. Now, I had a 26-foot pup and a synchronized 5-speed Ford single-axle tractor. So I had 3 total axles for the test because that's all you needed to pass the test. So the school had you do that so that you could get your license easier. And I think we did have to parallel park it. And if I can remember, the truck school had the cone from the state set up exactly the same at the truck school. So when you practice at the truck school, turn your wheel here, turn as soon as you see this cone, turn, and so you did it the exact way at the test, and you passed your test. Oh, I think everybody but one. The short names like Trucking Answers were already taken, so I had to use a longer one. They don't seem to stop other people from using the same name, so that's good. We got in early and got all the good short names. You know, walk, get fed. In 1992 at 21, only where I did it then got hired to JB Hunt. All right, they taught you. I stayed 3 years and started hauling fuel. Then line haul, and then management, and now CEO. No, I mean, that's good, right? That's a good way in, absolutely. Yeah, Kelly, no politics, exactly. Oh my gosh, how much of that do we hear everywhere? Holy moly. Your buddy Jake now works at State Farm. Yeah, but the problem at working at State Farm is you got to be up taking calls all night. I don't know about that. Let's get on with the hours of service talk. All right, it's hours of service. Let's do it. 4 things. What do people want to know? First, if you have any questions, let's go about it. We're going to do 4 things. Number 1, short haul. Go through this because people don't have that much of a need for it. You'll be able to do short haul, goes from 100 to 150 miles in short haul and from 12 to 14-hour days. So if you stay within that and your company allows you to do it and you return to your location, your reporting location every day, you can run without a log. Okay, you can run without a log. You do not need a log then if your company allows it. You must be released from duty at the same place you start, not somewhere else. It can't be anywhere else. So the Geotab or whatever ELD is going to show where you start. You got to be in the same yard. You can't be down the street or in another city, then you're not short haul. That's how it works. That's number 1 part, right? Christina's going to binge watch videos because that's like Netflix. I had a parallel parker in reverse S. Wow, that's a complicated test. Good afternoon, Ralph. Geotab is going to update. Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Both admins and drivers can see those on Geotab's blog. Oh, do you see Schneider raising pay up to 61 cents? Yeah, they're up to what other places almost pay already. The Korean Mafia disabled yard move and personal conveyance doesn't do an 8-2 split. It would be great the new split. Why don't they allow the split now, especially? Because that's another thing. Split sleeper. 8273. Now, that's the way it's been put, but look, it only has to be this. The longer part has to be at least 7, okay, or 8. It can be 7.5. It doesn't have to be 7 or 8, All right, at least 7 and 8. Okay, so it can be 7.5, 2.5, and the short part has to be at least 2, and can be longer. So it can be 8 and 2, it can be 8 and 3, and both sections stop your clock, and it doesn't matter which section comes first. So during the day, if you have a sleeper, of course, okay, because we've had people log sleeper because the thing shows it, because some of the trucks have sleepers and the tablets can switch in between trucks. You change trucks, you can take the tablet with you. Some people are logging sleeper berth without a sleeper. Like, whoa, you cannot log sleeper if you don't have a sleeper. They're like, well, I need a sleeper. Whatever. No. So you need a sleeper berth, but you can take 3 hours. So it's 4 p.m. You don't want to go through Chicago. Sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, right, and split your sleeper berth. You can do that as long as you get the second part of it. Absolutely. My route takes me through Cleveland on Tuesday. I'm dreading it. That's not terrible. Watch the curve there. I took my test in a Mack R model winch truck with a 5+4 and a Mack motor. Yikes, paired to a 40-foot tank, I guess, a vac tank. I guess that's a legal CDL truck, right, to take your test? Parallel parking was a must, so is crust to crust. New hours of service rules don't affect you. I stick to 10 and 0. Yeah, remember, just because these rules exist doesn't mean you have to use them or whatever. Okay, you do not have to use them. And some companies will let you use some or all of them or not. So, Mark, a company can always have limits that are more strict than the DOT. They just can't be less strict. Mark works for State Farm. He's got the red shirt. Please don't ask about pants. Yeah, please don't. Chicken and watermelon on us, the state of Alabama. Hey, I'm in for that. Right. 1.5 years and I'll be back into trucks, coming out of one retirement and finishing what I started for my second retirement. So you get a couple of retirements and get back to trucks. I'm in. I hope you find them useful. Fleet Nav Systems videos are very useful. The only ones I put out at the end of May made the training even shorter and more condensed. Right. Condense it even farther. That's what I say. 2 minutes. That's all trucking training. No, but the videos of Fleet Nav System are very useful for people that need that kind of information. What happens if you take a 3 and a 10? You can do a 3 and a 10. Midlife Trucker Trucking with Tom Bell. You can do 3 and 10. So you take 3 off, and then later in the day you take 10 off. No problem, because 3 and 7 is your split. You've made the split. You can continue to stay in the sleeper all you want. And once you get a 10-hour break, you will completely reset your hours. At the 7-hour mark, you'll reset a split. At 10, you've reset your hours. So you can do that. Yes, they've actually had questions about it. Absolutely. 310 is a split because you satisfy the split with 7 hours. Remember, the long section will have to be at least 7 of those hours in the sleeper. The long part has to be sleeper. Okay, so to split it, it's got to be splitting a sleeper. You can't split it otherwise. I had a single axle international 10-speed Road Ranger and a 35-foot City Flyer. We tested at 99th and King Drive. Oh, sweet. We tested on the south side, 130th. Does he work for State Farm? Is he in engineering? Oh, no. Science. This would be science, right? Got my driver engineering way down in the back there. I don't think so. I got my driver's license at 99 and King on my 16th birthday. Nice. I was not allowed to drive. Only time I drove in high school was to take the driving test right before I graduated high school. So that's the only time I ever drove. Didn't take driver's ed or anything like that. Took the test in a Plymouth Horizon. The finest car Chrysler could ever make. So, passed it, obviously. Does anyone use just trucking cameras? If so, how are they? Forward cameras only is all I want. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how some of these are. I've only seen the big ones, of course, like, Samsara and Lytix. You can also just get a dash cam if you want a forward camera, in the truck. Just get it. They're under $100 now, $60, $70 for a good dash cam. Please, everybody, get some kind of dash cam. There are 2 companies in Spokane that are constantly advertising. Yeah, why is that, right? Why are they advertising? Why do they have to run ads all the time? A company that constantly runs ads, you got to wonder about that, don't you? You're a transportation engineer. Yeah, I'm a science. But yeah, Trent, that's what they'd like me to think. They wouldn't call you that here because then they have to give you a raise. They're like, no, they're like, you're barely over a sewer worker. So the other part, 30-minute break. Let's do the third part, the 30-minute break. The 30-minute break will be required after 8 driving hours. not after 8 hours on duty anymore. So only after 8 driving hours will you need a 30-minute break. The break can be off duty, on duty, or sleeper berth. As long as it's one 30-minute section, you can't split the break up. It has to be one section. So you have to take it all at once. But it can be anything that's not driving. What they're trying to do is get you just to stop driving for 30 minutes after 8-hour driving. So if you work 5 hours and drive 5 hours, you don't even have to take a break. Isn't that great? But once you get your 8th driving hour, anything, fueling the truck, anything you do basically that's not driving would be considered a break. Just don't split the 30 minutes up into more than one section of 30 minutes. That's a no. Professionals do not travel via Greyhound. Exactly. Professionals do not get on Greyhound. So companies that want you to get on Greyhound, I'd ask them, well, why am I not a professional? Do I have a preferred dash camera? Yeah, I like the Akaso that I use. It's been in a number of my videos, and it's at truckinganswersnation.com. I love it because, number one, it has a 20-minute battery, which is unusual for when it's off. But also, it can record out the window, or it can record you and out the window. It can record both. And why I like that is because you can turn that on and off. All right, so if a nice officer comes to talk to you while he's walking up, you can just hit the button and turn on the forward and rear camera. Then there's no question about what was said or anything else because you can toggle the microphone on and off as well. Then he can't say anything about what you were doing because you can film yourself and you can turn that on and off, and that's the one I use. You need an SD card for it. Mine is 64 gigs, runs 6 hours, a little over 6 hours. You can put a bigger card in it if you want. I like it. And they're $70. I mean, a bargain. It's HD, full HD. Transporter engineers wear yellow. Exactly. Engineering is gold. What dash cams do you recommend? My work does not supply them. I work local. Yeah, I think that Akaso, right. Go get it. But get any kind just to start. Get a mount for your phone and just start recording all day. I mean, really got to get something. I was thinking of getting sunglasses that are a camera. That'd be interesting. If you wore them all day. Can record 10, 80, and 20 hours of video on a sunglasses? Wow. We drove our cars to school in Oklahoma at 14 and 15. Nobody cared. Do it now and get arrested. Yeah, that wasn't allowed by my parents. So that was a big no. Just one night, good morning. Heading down your way on 65 from Chicagoland. Currently in Roselawn. Nice. By the nudist colony. Taking care of the dreaded parking regen. Oh, that's great. Must have an international. You should stop off at the nudist colony there and just walk around. I don't know. Feel free. But the 30-minute break can be a combination of off-duty, sleeper berth, and on-duty. Yeah, it can be any combination as long as it's continuous. So if you want to take a 15-minute nap and then fuel your truck for 15 minutes, you can do that. But it has to be one 30-minute section. But it can be any combination of those back and forth as long as it adds up to 30 minutes. And then it counts as a 30-minute break. It doesn't have to be off-duty anymore. I kept missing you, Adam. A new company home weekends. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. At least you're home on the weekends, right? Trucker boy got my CDL in 2000. Literally showed me just enough to pass the test and got your license. Exactly. That's what we did. The first company I got a job with didn't believe I actually had a CDL because I couldn't drive. That's great. That's super great. But at least you got your license, and hey, here you still are today, right? I have them in metallic green. Oh, that'd be great. New 30-minute break helps me 5 of my runs. I'll be back in office. Yippee. Yikes. Edgar, the company I work for is not following the 8-hour driving rule. What does that mean? They say I must do the break after 8 hours on duty. They said if I follow the new rule, I'll get written up. Well, that's the thing. And that's weird of them to do that. But that's true. They can make a rule that is more strict than the FMCSA. So since that rule would still qualify under the 8 driving hours, you're going to have to follow their rules or get written up. They can make rules that are more strict. I don't know why they would do it. It makes it super complicated to figure out. But if you took it after 8 hours on duty, you presumably would not have 8 driving hours or only 8, and you'd still qualify to pass the log at an inspection. That's sad, though. As a local driver, I can do my full shift without a break. Not sure if I like that. That's the problem. There'll be some local drivers that had to get a break and now won't be able to get a break. The company will be like, hey, why don't you just do your whole shift and never stop? Kevin, I got my big wiener rolling. Well, that's good. Keep it rolling. The only time I take a ground is at the racetrack. Yes. right before they beat the dog senseless and then kill them for racing at the track. Right, I love it. I work for Schneider. We haven't heard anything about a pay increase, much less 61 cents. I'm getting 44 with 29 years experience. That's horrible. It was a big announcement over the weekend, I will say, and they said solo drivers are also getting raises. Let me ask you, 29 years of experience, why are you tolerating 44 cents of household goods miles at Schneider? I mean, really, what brought you to Schneider? Or have you been at Schneider 29 years, which I guess is possible? 13 is just enough to pass. Great. You don't need a dash cam. Just put your phone on record and hold it for 11 hours where you drive like a real man. Yeah, that's what we had to do in the old days. I had to bring a rotary phone and hold it up there. I was regenerated at the nudist colony. That's great. Yeah, that's right there in Roselawn. Wish I could stay for the rest of this, but got to head out. Have a great day and drive safe. All right, Fleet Nav Systems, it's good to see you here. Thanks for popping in. The sunglasses camera are made by Zeotronics. That sounds great. I wonder, are they dark too? I like the blades kind, though, from the 80s. I like the idea because they record everything you see from your perspective. Yeah, and you can just walk around with them then, right, when you get out of the truck. Alex, the OTR driver's checking in. Regen at the women's prison in North Las Vegas. Wow. Hopefully that is not a nudist colony. Under the new rules, are drivers going to get allowance for unusual traffic caused by four-wheelers? Well, the last part of it is adverse driving conditions. And, that's always an iffy thing, and it still is. The adverse driving condition changes. It used to be you only got 2 extra driving hours, so you'd get 13 hours of driving in a 14-hour day. Now they're allowing the 2 hours of driving and to extend your 14-hour day to 16 hours. So you'll have 13 hours of driving in a 16-hour day. But, adverse driving, it says this, that it has to be something that you could not have known at the beginning of your driving. And also that when you were dispatched, that your dispatch could not have known about it. It's not that you don't know about it. It's that you couldn't have known about it. And they're very clear about that. So it's like, I'm not going to look at the weather so I can use adverse driving because I didn't know about it. It's not an excuse. You could have known about it and didn't. So depends what four-wheelers do on whether you'll get that extra time. Unusual traffic. Is it unusual? I mean, if we're stuck in Chicago in the afternoon, is that an unusual amount of traffic? Is that an adverse condition that you could not have known about? So maybe if there's a huge accident that closes the road that you didn't know about. The thing is, can you prove it later? Think about that. When you use this one in an audit, can you prove it later? Can you prove this was really something you didn't know about and it's adverse, it's unusual? That's how you would want to think about that. Because if they come back and ask you, you're going to need to prove it. There's a company here in Bakersfield. They busted. They were just paying a guy at the DMV and getting their license off the test. They pulled everyone's license. Yeah, they do that every once in a while. You'll see stuff like that. A couple of, I don't remember, maybe it was Georgia. One state, a bunch of people had to come back in and retest and everything. Yeah, absolutely. Bakersfield, I was born there in 63. Wow. On local work is hourly because always better than mileage or percentage. I think hourly is better as long as they pay overtime because you get paid for your time. So here, there's a lot of days in the winter where you have to run slow or whatever. So if you're getting 70 cents a mile, congratulations. If you can only go 10 miles an hour, that's still $7 an hour because of the snow. So the hourly doesn't go down because you have to slow down. That's the thing. And hourly is you get paid for all your time. It depends what it works out to, and I never really like percentage because if the rates go down, the rates are up now, you'd make money. When the rates dived a few months ago, or whatever, down to nothing, that's a real problem, on percentage. So for me, I'm not a fan. I'd rather you worked hourly with overtime. Companies that don't pay overtime, I don't know. I don't think they should do that. Chris is at Bakersfield. I'm about to move out of state. What to do after trucking? Where's the nudist colony? It's right there. Going south on 65, you get off at Roselawn and go west, and it's down there on the right. And there's a big sundial with a lady's leg out in the front of the place. So, and I don't know if they have truck parking or not, but that's where it is. Where do you find out about the Swift Snyder Sierra England merger? All right, so people talked about this last week, and I looked it up. There's nothing about it. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest news ever. There is not word one about it anywhere. So where you're hearing about it, I'd love to know because nobody has posted anything about it other than right here in this channel. I'd love to see that. I couldn't find word one about it. Nothing. Gear Jammer left California 20 years ago. Get out of there. Exactly. Sorry I'm late. I had to get some paperwork. You know how that is, Imperial. Well, the paperwork. Are you getting this electronic bills like they're talking about? Who's doing the e-bills? They come with different colored lenses. They probably not like blades. I like the wraparound blades, Terminator-style glasses, but I'd love to see. Does that give good video and everything? Chicken hauling is where it's at. Yuck. So traffic in Atlanta wouldn't be an adverse condition because everybody knows there's traffic in Atlanta. Exactly. I mean, a normal slowdown where it's backed up every day, due to rush hour, or just Atlanta where it's backed up all the time. Normal things are not adverse things. But if 10 cars crash and the road's backed up for 12 miles because everybody has to get off, and that'd be something adverse. And if that happened after you left and you had no way to know about it, I would say that's an adverse condition. But just sitting in a rush hour traffic is not an adverse condition. In Atlanta, it's every day. So basically, you cannot trust the adverse conditions rule. It's always a risk to use adverse conditions on something that is more or less normal. If it's something super unusual, then it's adverse conditions. But something that is kind of normal, that one's the more risky one. And the problem is that as long as you turn your logs in, and I've seen this at almost every company, and electronic logs, as long as it's turned in legal to the computer, nobody says anything. Your problem is later if somebody asks you later about it. Well, why were you in adverse conditions? What's the story here? No matter which way you get paid, there are pros and cons to them all. Exactly. Some do better than others. I just like hourly because then I think that you're insured, that you're paid for all of your time. If you punch in and punch out, then all that time in between, you're getting paid for it. Then once you go to overtime, you're getting paid extra. So Trucker Boy gets paid hourly, home every night. But it's BS because they're not giving us overtime. Well, and seeing that's the thing. I do have a real problem working there and be like, why are we not giving overtime? Why are we not paying it? And their excuse to me can't be, because we don't have to. Well, so what? That doesn't mean you can't pay overtime. You don't have to pay more than minimum wage, but to do that. George, I'm taking my break at Arby's. America's roast beef. Yes, sir. I don't usually eat here. The cashier's handed over the change. He asked me if I'll leave a tip. Is that normal? Really? Okay. Anybody that asks me for a tip, I'd say my tip is don't ask for a tip. That's number one. And no. Who tips at a fast food restaurant? I'd be like, no. And that's pretty gall. I bet he gets some tips, though, that way. Thank God, as I suspected, IC was full of crap. Okay, well, I don't know. I looked everywhere. If you're talking about this England and Swift, I cannot find word one. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be everywhere. Two gigantic companies merging. I thought it's so big the government might get involved in it. But then there's nothing. If you've got a link or something, I'd love to read about it. See, some legit site has posted something about it, but I can't get anything. You're getting an e-receipt for lumping now? Dawn Price. How do they give that to you? Do you have to give them like an email and they email you the receipt? How does that work? Or does it go right to your company? Or maybe you're the one paying it? What's the first thing an Okie baby learns? Mama, Dada, and Bakersfield? Jeez. Would be like a rock slide in the gorge. I've been to a nudist camp at Bloomington. It's a nice place. Nothing sexual about skinny dipping in the pool. Hey, I'm not saying there's anything sexual about it at all. I didn't know they had any in Bloomington. I've known about the one at Roselawn for I don't know how many years. So yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, probably a lot of the people at the nudist colony are, not necessarily people you'd want to see at a nudist colony. So they're just people out there enjoying the sun, looking at their lady leg sundial, which is like 10 feet tall. It's on like, great places to see or something, So, it's like a thing to see. A 50-car pileup on I-80 between Rollins and Laramie is not an adverse condition in normal in winter. Exactly. As soon as they open the road, it's 50-car pileup again. Yeah, we're right. If you're paid by the hour, is an overtime pay required? Paul Harris. No. For transportation, unfortunately, since the late 30s, transportation has been exempted from overtime. Isn't that awesome? They're actually exempted from minimum wage. That's how they get away with having drivers get paid nothing for part of their time. But most places that pay hourly are going to pay you more than minimum. But a lot of companies don't pay overtime. They don't. And that's why when you go to a place that's paying hourly, you got to ask them, hey, do you pay overtime past 40? And some of them are no, we pay it after 55 hours or whatever. So be sure to get all that up front. I get paid hourly. Chris Keller, home every day running an end dump. 30 an hour fixed, 6 times a day. No log, short haul exemption. That's, so 30, that's pretty good. Depends. 60 hours, $1,800. Not bad. When I win the lottery, I'm going to run 4 to 5 trucks, open a nightclub and a gym. Would you be my concierge? Yeah, I'd love to be the concierge, a doorman there. If you get stuck driving behind 2 Prime trucks, Prime Inc., is that Amazon? I'm not sure. Trying to pass each other, would that be an adverse driving condition? No, because that's something that we know about. That's common, and we already know that's going to happen. So Chris doesn't get overtime. I think you should get overtime. I still think at 30 you should get overtime. You should get overtime. That's one thing I'd like to see that ended where, hourly must pay overtime. I like e-bills. Wake up and bills paid, no mail, no writing checks. Okay, for that way. Bill of ladings. Let's put it that way, right? But I got you right. I do most bills that way. Who wants to drive more hours in adverse conditions? Worthless. Well, that's true. I know, but they extended that because otherwise you'd be in violation. Say you were getting to a truck stop or something, and then there's an adverse condition in the way where, like this accident that was just on their pickup truck, rear-ended a semi right over here in Kentland. Right, he's turning left, just rear-ended it, closed the road for hours, so Kentland, Indiana. That kind of thing would be adverse condition, I think, and that would still get you to where you're going. To be like the politicians, I have no recollection of adverse conditions. Right, I'd never adverse conditioned that weather. Depending on the state you're in, some industries have an exemption. Oh, nice. Where did I go off to here? Let's see. I hate when companies say, well, the law says we can only pay this when that's a minimum requirement. Day cab, gear jammer. The law never puts a maximum on how much places can pay you. They can pay you whatever they want. They could pay you $150 an hour. They could. They don't. But the law doesn't, say anything. That's why I don't like minimums, on pay. Because then they say, well, that's all we have to pay you. Chris Rock, you can look that up on YouTube. He has a great thing about minimum wage. He said, the only reason they pay you minimum wage because if they pay you less, it's illegal. They go to jail. If they could, they would just pay you in produce. So absolutely. Guess you could say it was a swift decision, Adam. There's a nudist park in Munich, Germany, across from the U.S. Embassy. Oh, does that get visited by Americans quite often? I've never seen sexy at a nude beach. Usually everything is sagging at the ankles. People just out trying to get a suntan without lines. That's all that is. Happy Roller Wiener Monday. It's good to see a Jim Trucker. There are a couple of nude beaches in Portland, Oregon. Oh, so they're all over the place. But none of them have the lady leg sundial like we have here in Roselawn, Indiana. Cash is King Trucking. I talked to a trucking company in Minneapolis that paid overtime after 47 hours. What a random number that is, 47 hours. I'm assuming they did the research and the average hours worked was 46 and a half, right? And they go, well, we still pay it, but that must be why they get that random number time, 47 hours. And see, I guess that's better than some. Some don't pay it no matter how many hours you get. So it just depends how many hours you get on whether it's worth working there. If you get stuck behind 2 bull haulers trying to pass each other, that's adverse. But getting stuck between 2 Swifts or Primes is normal. Yeah, but you wouldn't get stuck between 2 bull haulers. They're both going 85 miles an hour. So that's why they can't pass each other. Can't just keep trucking. So if the road is closed due to construction in Indiana, that would not be adverse. No, the whole state is under construction. I think that when the road is open and there's no construction in Indiana, that's an adverse condition. I should get 2 extra hours for that. Misty taking y'all jogging with me, so just listening. Oh, nice. Out for a run today. Was going to do that, but then no. If we're truly free, what's the reason I'm called crazy when I ask when trucking will go back to $1.60 a mile as a starting driver? Where's the livability? $1.60 a mile would be pretty incredible as a company driver, but that was, if we're talking way back in the Wayback Machine, that was artificially inflated by the government limiting competition. So you used to have to go to the government, the ICC, and say, look, I want to run a truck between Chicago and St. Louis, and you'd have to prove that there was a need for a truck. You couldn't just compete. And so the companies that were in on that deal would always say, oh, no, there's not another need for a truck, and they can keep the rates really, really high. It increases the cost of goods everywhere, and it does increase driver pay, but artificially. It's not a real pay that you should be earning, really. Adverse conditions is a double-edged sword since we're told to expect the unexpected. Oh, so expect this, but also use adverse conditions. There are 3 nude camps in Ohio. Really? Where are all these nudist places? Why isn't there one for truck drivers? How about that? Where they have truck parking and it's truck drivers only. Nude truck drivers only nudist camp. That'd be something that I'm sure drivers would like to get into, right? Try that kind of thing out, I think. GATS is canceled. GATS is canceled for 2021. Was anybody going to go to the Great American Truck Show in 2021? All right. Well, you're not. They already canceled it. It's the end of, August or September of 2021. It's already canceled. So I went and looked at Mid-America Truck Show. So far, that's still on, but that's the end of March. So I don't know if they're going to do it. It's a 50-year anniversary. That made me really kind of concerned about it. So GATS is already canceled for late next summer, 2021. They said they couldn't ensure what would be going on, and I'm not sure about that. So I think Mark missed a joke about bull haulers. I think I did. I think I missed that one. Oh, let's see. Who else is... Oh, right. This Schneider Pay Raise, which actually wrote down and somebody commented on. I'm still waiting for that. I'm wondering why you would be there at 44 cents with 29 years. Did you come in to train there? Or what brings you to Schneider after all those years and a really relatively low pay rate over the road, when there are other road jobs that probably pay a lot better, not just a little bit? Because I always say, look, for 2 cents, it's not worth quitting a job over 2 cents, but you can get probably 10, 15 cents a mile more than that. So that's a considerable pay raise. Could be pigs or chickens. I'm not sure. If interstate transportation companies were required to pay overtime, they would only pay per mile. Well, if everybody paid per hour, well, here's the thing about this. People shouldn't take a job that they don't get paid overtime if they're getting paid hourly. So if the company can't get drivers, it would be required to pay overtime just to get people to come in the door. And when they say no overtime, every driver says, I'm not working here. That's how your pay changes. That is how your pay changes. Jarvis Jones. Hey, Mark, would you have any figures on how many truck drivers may be working with COVID? No. Flo only would be in the hospital, but there are those with symptoms while driving. I'm sure because, look, you can't, this is the problem. You can't tell the company. We had a guy, a dispatch, who was gone for a couple weeks. I'm like, where'd he go? Oh, he had COVID, so they told him he complained about it, and so they sent him home for 2 weeks, but they don't pay him anything. And so he said, well, I'll never say another word about it. He'll just come to work sick. That's where the companies go wrong. Rather than paying you, they just send you home and not pay you. So, yeah, drivers have no choice but kind of to go in. What are they supposed to do, right? So, yeah, there's probably some. I'm sure they're around. Mm-hmm. A nudist colony for truckers would be a pickle park. Oh, that's great. The pickle park. Nudist trucker colony. I want no part of anything nudist, Christina. Well, I'm just saying that everybody seems to know about them, and let's get, we could have a sundial that's got a semi instead of a lady's leg. I think that's great. Ew, what would be floating in the trucking nudist pool? Well, at least the drivers would be getting rinsed off. And ironically, you'd probably want to wear flip-flops around there because you're walking on the ground. So, nudist truck camp, you couldn't stomach the smell? I don't know. Jarvis, great show. You rock. Wow, thank you. I don't know about that. I appreciate it. Kelly would not visit a nudist colony for truckers. I don't even like seeing myself naked. Well, I think it'd be certainly an interesting place, wouldn't it? I recommend Clean Harbors. These guys make good money and have nice equipment for the most part. Yeah, don't they have a terminal in Hammond? It seems like I remember Hammond, Indiana for them. Keto Walkfit, see you later. It's good to see you. I've seen their equipment. It's pretty nice. You do a lot with that hazmat there, right? They're teaching you to become licensed to pass the test. Roy, yeah, that's what they told us. I mean, they were pretty clear at truck school when I went that, look, we're just basically teaching you how to drive and get the test passed so you get your license. And they always said, beyond that, the company you go to will teach you anything. Well, the local company, we only had 2 semis, and it was 2 guys running the place that had no idea how to drive. So you kind of were just winging it, really. We only get paid what we get paid since we expect it. You only get paid what you will accept. You only get in life, right, as for Motivation Monday, what you accept. So if you accept a job that doesn't pay overtime, and then it doesn't pay overtime, so you make less money. So unless you get a really high straight time rate or only work 40 hours. I believe they had a news camp at the movie Convoy. Really? Really? Did they stop in there? With today's text, it would be fairly easy to pay hourly. It'd be super easy to pay hourly, wouldn't it? As soon as you sign in, you get paid. And then when you sign out at the end of the day, you stop getting paid. How easy would that be? That'd be easier than it has been. But I mean, there's always been the time clock or whatever, or the thumb punch, whatever they do now with these time clocks. But I mean, how easy would it be? It's absolutely not a driver shortage, a pay shortage, a rip-off of a job. Absolutely. I mean, UPS is having trouble finding trainers. UPS, look, we can't find enough trainers to train all these drivers that we have, new drivers. That's what they said. So they have tons of drivers coming in. They can't get them trained fast enough. Oh, absolutely. A buddy of mine, Chris, makes at Clean Harbors, makes good money, regional, pulling a roll-off with a nice 579 Pete and a 13-speed. That'd be great. Single stack along the cab, all chromed out. That'd be great. And good money. Some truck drivers naked would make the sun not look away. Wow, why is it cloudy only here? There's a news colony in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Oh, don't tell me. Who's over there? Yikes. That is all the drivers walking across the street? Hazmat's all they do. It's a hazmat company, so you're going to probably need your endorsement. Yeah, and so it pays better, though. We just got 50 brand new 389s in at Smith. Smith's in the news there, Michael Muller. Smith's getting sued. Smith Transport has a lawsuit. They were in the news. They fired somebody in their Roaring Springs, Pennsylvania terminal. So the lawsuit says, right? Smith does not say this, and I'm not saying it. They fired someone purportedly for being gay. The person complained and was harassed and given problems. It all started when the man put down another man as their contact information, and somebody found out, and it went, and so they're being sued for it in court for discrimination. Crazy. Now, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, so we'll see how that lawsuit goes. They're probably automatics. No, it's that 13-speed, right? Jury day in Goshen. Currently vacuum loading some polyethylene pellets at our rail line. Where are those going to go? Are those going to make a dashboard for somebody or something? Thanks for response on COVID. Much appreciated. I wish the trucking industry could be more proactive. There has to be a incentive to make it safer. The problem, it's like this at every industry, right? So when somebody gets the COVIDs, even somebody in your house, and you have to go to work, and if you take 2 weeks off, almost every place, unless you're like a high up executive, nobody gets, sick days. It's very unusual to get sick days here. So if you're not going to get paid, people just aren't going to say anything. They're just not. And so you're going to either take it home and spread it, or you're going to bring it from work back to your house and spread it that way. Absolutely. So, and that's a function of pay. That is absolutely a function of pay. Because if you knew you'd get paid to stay home, you'd stay home if you were sick. Okay. I never understood why restaurants do this all my whole life. Why do restaurants not give people sick days? Why do you want people to come to work sick, even before all the COVIDs and the before times when we only had the flu to worry about and other weird diseases? Why do people want to come and work sick? But since you're not paid, I get why people say it. I totally get it. Why they won't say anything. That's just how it's going to, until people are paid, that's how it's going to work. Cash King Trucking. I could be the sundial at the nudist trucker park, but I would have to wind my watch first. Wow. Wind your watch should be in quotes. The CEO of Clean Harbors was on Undercover Boss. It was eye-opening. I'm sure he forgot about it once the episode was over. Yeah, I think I remember that. Right. Oh, people actually have to work at this place. And he had some guy with like the super cleanest truck I've ever seen, if I remember right. Wasn't a truck like just from the detail shop or something to get it on TV? There's a commercial about a company that pays you within hours of delivery. Some trucking companies advertise this. Immediate pays, turning your bills and you get paid. So you get paid multiple times a week. It doesn't make any difference. If you make $1,500 a week, or if you make $300 at 8 times 5 days, you still make $1,500. So I don't know what the difference is, I guess, to me. Alexandra, what's up? I got 2 drops in Cincinnati today. All right down the street. Right in Cincinnati. What's happening down there? Really never heard of it. Going to ask my DM. Yeah, it's in the news today. So I'm sure they're not spreading it around there. And I don't know what happened because that's not this terminal here. So they have a terminal in Indiana also. This house in Roaring Springs. Midlife Trucker, Trucking with Tom Bell. Mills Transfer, a look at Black River Falls. I'm going to have to check out this news colony. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I knew they're right across the street or whatever. So our drivers, is that where the lunch break is over there? Are they taking a walk across the street? What's happening? I work for Crete Carrier at Schaefer. Would like to have my own truck. What do I recommend other than lease? Or refuse to pay for a truck that's past its life? Well, 44 Sinister. I'm the wrong one to ask, probably. I'm all company all the time. So for me, owning a truck, for me, not worth it from the risk. But certainly, I don't never recommend leasing a truck from the carrier. go get the truck on your own. If you can't, it's not time to get a truck. Get a truck from outside the carrier, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And what does Crete Schaefer pay per mile, just curiously? Smoking the Bandit 3 had an adult-only motel. They had adults-only motels? I don't remember that. Where were those located? You could lease a truck from the dealer, then lease it on to the trucking company, Kelly. Yeah, that'd be way better. Then you're in control of the asset. Because if you don't like Crete for some reason in the future, or they close or whatever happens, you keep your truck and just lease it on to somebody else. Exactly. Can you tell me about sleep apnea? If one has a doctor say they've got sleep apnea but not found by the DOT doctor, does the person have to report it? Oh, see, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a reportable thing from your doctor. Is there any medication? Because you probably have to write medication down. If it's not found by the DOT, I don't know. Anybody here got sleep apnea? How would that work on kind of the reverse? It's usually the DOT doctor always sending you to get the thing. So how does that work in reverse? Oh, Millis, and they are the nudist. Oh, that is the colony. Millis Nudist Colony. Wow, that'd be something. Your personal doctor cannot divulge that, Kelly. Right, the doctor can't, but are you required to report it to the DOT doctor by when it says, do you have any conditions, that kind of thing? And there's another part, are you taking any medication? Do you have to write that down there? That's what I'm concerned about. I recommend getting an old pre-emissions tractor. That's solid. Wow. I mean, that's getting old now. Take someone with you to look at the truck if you don't know what you're doing. Make sure to take an oil sample. I think buying a truck used, I think it's like a car. It's got to be like a car. Take the truck to a mechanic and have it looked over. Same with buying a used car, which hardly anybody does. Take it to a mechanic and get it looked over. I think so. Schaefer pays 48 cents. They wouldn't pay 48 cents for a lease truck, though, just somebody putting their truck on. And that's more than the driver earlier said they're getting at Schneider after being a 29-year driver. That would be kind of disappointing. Alexander, I'm waiting around for another 5.5 hours for my Kroger appointment. Oh, enjoy that. UDF got me in and out within 45 minutes. UDF. What's UDF? That's better, and now you got to sit for 5 hours, and then you sit 5 hours at Kroger. Maybe not. Maybe they're doing better. Do you have e-bills? Are you doing electronic bills there? Aregas 76. We have a nude colony called Caliente Club in resort close to Tampa, Florida. Oh, it's Caliente. Nice. That sounds more exotic. Christina, so no meds, so you can put no medications on the thing. So, see, I don't know. I don't know if you're required to put it down. I don't want to tell you required to put it down. You'd have to look up, are you required to put it down? Isn't there a section, are you being treated for anything? Are you being treated for things? And then, then what do you do with that? And if you put it down, do you lose your job? That's the thing of it. Did you ever watch WKRP in Cincinnati? Yeah, if you ever wonder whatever he did, yeah, people do it. Mark, stop singing. Okay, that's enough of that. Right, but absolutely, all the time. The lawsuit was dismissed. It just got filed. Unless it was dismissed today. It's in the news today. So, possible. Are there any Amish with COVID? I don't know. I don't know any. I would call them, but they don't answer. So, I'm not sure. I think the Wisconsin News Colony is called Cheddar and Brats. Cheddar and Brats. That would be a good one. Even a DOT doctor cannot divulge it. They can only deny. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to divulge it. I'm saying, do you have to divulge it? So if you get your doctor says, look, you've got the sleep apnea. Then you go to take a DOT physical and it says, are you being treated for anything? Are you being treated for it? So you have to write that down on there. And if you don't, what can happen? There was that driver earlier this year, I would say, and he got arrested for not putting down on his physical that he was taking medication, but they only found out because he had an accident. And so the lawyers on the other side looked into his physical and found out he was on medication that he didn't write down. Otherwise, I don't know if they would find that out, but that's not a good way to do stuff. And certainly once you get treated for something that you need treatment for. But would you be fired? Would they not hire you? I don't know. If you're not taking medication, then if you're not being treated, then do you have to put it down? Does Crete pay practical malice? Yes, I do believe they do. Sleep apnea sleep apnea, Mark, is no longer required as part of a DOT physical. It was never required as part of a DOT physical. But depending on the company, they ask you about it in the physical question form. Yeah, it's never been required. We've never done it here. So, and some companies make everybody do it over a certain size. So it just depends. Some companies do want you to do it, right? Ironically, Schneider's a big one. Oh, United Dairy Farmers. Right. UDF. Sorry I'm late, Kevin. So wish you had another UDF delivery instead of Kroger, I'll tell you that. Kelly, so many of my doctor's patients are truckers. She went and got her license to do DOT exams, which is a big time saver for me. Yeah, that'd be great. I wish I could go to the same doctor to do that. You're just already in there, get everything taken care of, you're done. I delivered ice cream, I'm sure. Isn't that what they mainly do? Right, so are you going to deliver ice cream to Kroger also? I assume so, right? You guys should have a split load. We should put those pads up. Of course, now they have multiple temp trailers, so that would work out better too. In the past, I've not put it in the question form and played stupid when asked by the doctor and got away with it. Mark, well, look, I've known drivers that take medication that is not part of a drug screen. And I'm not telling anybody to do this. You got to decide what you want to do. But I know drivers have done this where they don't put that down and then they pass a physical where they might have otherwise not passed because they don't know that you're on a medication. And is it a risk? Yeah, it is a risk. Many years ago, oh my gosh, I took a physical for some, I don't remember why, but I didn't have any glasses. I think I was super poor is what the problem was. And I couldn't get glasses. I didn't even have the money to get glasses. But I needed to take a physical to get a job to get it so I could get glasses. So I just memorized the eye chart. Okay. Do you wear glasses? No, which was true because I didn't have any glasses to wear. But I just memorized the lines forward and backward. They're all the same, it turns out. It's a Snell and eye chart. And they're all the same everywhere. And so they're like, read line 8 or whatever. I'm like, all right. And I read it and passed the physical and then ended up getting glasses. So that worked out good. That's not as much as medical, but, taking a drug or whatever. But still, it can be a problem. So would I put it down? I don't know. I probably wouldn't tell them. Me personally, I wouldn't tell them. But what you do, I don't know. If there's no medication you're taking and the DOT doctor doesn't say anything about it, I'd probably just let it ride. With the cost of tires, that should be enough to not buy a truck. Are tires expensive? I assume so. Left Millis after Heartland takeover. Yeah, but people have written me and said nothing happened. 53 cents practical mile stopped working for peanuts. Owner-operators make like $1.37. $1.37 is not great. Not worth it in my opinion, but company drivers great. Yeah, I mean, that's not a lot of a split to own the truck. Good afternoon, market fans. Wilburn 79, Wilbound. Keep on trucking. It's good to see you here. Food liners upping their pay by 3 to 10% can make $80,000, extra $150 on top of the load on weekends. Home daily, off every other weekend. Oh, that's pretty good. Joshua, they do food liner. The only thing I see them every once in a while advertise. I don't know what they do around here, but there's a food liner terminal right here in Lafayette, so that's not bad. I get paid 50% VA disability for sleep apnea, so I don't mind using mine. Well, companies, I guess they will. So the company will still hire you on a 50% disability? Yes, I'm delivering ice cream to Kroger, Alexandra. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? It's Kroger branded ice cream from Wells. All right, I'm in. It's not as warm today. I always like delivering those loads when it's 100 degrees out because you open the doors, you get that big puff of steam. You kind of make your own weather system behind you, which ironically for another driver behind you could be an adverse weather condition. Regularly making $1,500 a week with only 2.5 years experience. If you want more info on Crete Schaefer, email. Yeah, that's not bad, right? Crete, and I've talked to Crete. Other than they wouldn't talk to me at the truck show, I kind of like the place. Let's put it this way. If you put hydrocodone on your medical card, the DMV will not register, but it's legal prescription. You can use even with the CDL. Yeah, see, that's a problem. Hydrocodone, I think, is part of a drug test, though. So I would certainly write down anything that could be found on a drug test because I think you'd have a problem then. But, do you put it on there and lose your license? It depends where you're taking it. Maybe you can get a doctor to write you something. I don't know. It's too close. My doctor has a digital eye chart, one bar wonder. Really? For the DOT physical? They just have one hanging on the back of the door. I've been going over here for a ton of years, decade. And so it's just a piece of paper hanging there. A digital chart would stink. I'd be like, where's the Snellen eye chart? The person doesn't wear a CPAP machine or no meds. Christina, yeah, then I think you're fine. If you don't wear a machine and no meds, then you got it made, right? You're not being treated for anything, I think. You don't want to not disclose anything on that, Cassius King. Physical, because if you get in an accident, it's going to be your butt. That's true. I mean, not disclosing stuff on there, like that one driver, and they actually arrested the guy, and he went to jail for falsifying a federal document, okay, for not putting down, and it wasn't even a big medication. It was some kind of blood pressure medication or something. It wasn't like this. It was smaller stuff, but they found out about it, but only because he had an accident. It's a risk. It's a risk to not put something down on there. A risk. You could lose your job and go to jail. You could. You can disclose it to the doctor, just not check mark it on your card. See, if you're telling the DOT doctor about it, they're the one that decide if you get your physical. That's what I'm saying. So your regular doctor, yeah, they don't ever talk to anybody. I actually asked them about that years ago. I'm like, do you ever say anything to anybody? And they're like, no, we don't say anything. I go, don't even tell me stuff. Because I had to fill this thing out. Who do you want to be to allow, your medical information? I said, nobody, not even me. So when we go in there, I just look at the doctor, and then we just both just leave the room. So I think that's the best way to do it. Nobody knows anything. Doctor doesn't know anything. I don't know anything. Who actually gets a great night's sleep being jostled and bounced around without drugs? Why are you being jostled? Are people hitting you when you're parked? So what is happening? Or are you teaming? Joshua Hunt, out of Lafayette, they haul non-hazmat like sucrose. Sucrose. Usually haul bulk sugar, flour, and starch. Pretty good company. Also good quarterly bonuses and an annual bonus. That's not bad. Sucrose. That sounds thick. I mean, I could just see that blobbing out of the trailer. I think, yeah, on the DOT physical, even if you don't disclose medical condition you have an accident, they're going to rip you apart. That is true. I mean, the bigger the accident, the more they're going to look into everything. But the problem was this guy wasn't necessarily the civil suit because, look, let's be honest. Say somebody had a $10 million judgment against you in a civil suit. Are you going to pay that? No, you're going to go bankrupt. But the problem was the federal charges of falsifying a document and then going to jail. I mean, that's a bigger problem. Hydrocodone is considered a narcotic. You can only be on non-narcotic meds. I guess it depends with the doctor. I would go with the doctor, but I don't know about that. But that kind of thing, hydrocodone, is something they're going to find in a drug test. Jeanette just had a physical last Friday. The doctor said she would not certify someone taking CBD oil. Oh, that's probably true because that's not, that has no medical use federally, right? The federal government says Schedule 1, no medical use at all. So if you took CBD and told them, right, you're not allowed to take it. You're just not allowed. So the doctor's not going to chance that doesn't come up or whatever. I could see why the doctor did that. When you sign that physical, you're signing a federal document. Cassius King Trucking, exactly. And that's why that guy went to jail. He fills, because you fill your part out, and he signs, oh, this is all true. And then it turned out later it wasn't all true. And so he went to jail, and that was the bigger part of it. That's a real problem. Jail is a real problem. HEPA does not apply your commercial driver's license. Everyone will know whatever you put down. Talk to your real doctor. You should always get treatment from your doctor, not from the DOT doctor, certainly. I was curious how team drivers actually got to sleep on the road. Horribly. I did it for a very short time in a couple different places and hated it. Couldn't get any sleep. We'd leave Monday, Sunday night. By Friday, zombie. I was a zombie. I won't do it. I won't do it for any amount of money. We have one team here, and sometimes when one person takes off, they'll have a sign up. They go, this person's going to be off for a week. Do you want to fill in for, they've got up to $2,000 for the week, and they still can't get anybody to do it. I'm like, no way. No way. Not interested. Not interested to do it. It's just too zombie-like. You're just too tired. You're going to kill somebody. Now my extreme upper 30s, I can't do those long. I can't sleep 2 hours a night for a whole week anymore like I used to. Just can't do it. Mark Fu. Well, as always, I enjoyed it. Got to go job hunting. No more teams ever. Yeah, not for me. And look, some people do it for years and love it. Okay. But for me, I can't do it. Alexander's enjoying the monthly bonuses. It pays for one of my cars. That's pretty great. I'm glad you have a stable of cars to pay for as well. And that's good. That's a good bonus. I'd rather they paid me an ice cream over there. It's Hot Hands Hank still giving free DOT inspections behind the manhole. Yeah, free. That's right. He's like a chiropractor, but it's in quotes. So absolutely. There's a DOT forbidden list. Look it up, right? That's probably, you could probably type that in. That's probably actually true, right? I'm sure it is. One bar wonder. I knew of a guy who got fired from the physical because when they did the cough test, he asked, now it's your turn. Your turn. Hey, what they do to you, you ought to be able to do back. That's what, that's in the good book. I read that. My last DOT physical was an 8:04, and I was just getting sick. That physical was a joke. I was done 11:04 anyway. Look, they're not, it's not like it's super thorough. Most of it, they go on what you tell them on the page. I think that's how they do most of it. I mean, the physical is kind of silly, the kind of stuff that you have to do, like touch your toes 3 times. I'm like, I don't do this at work. Why should I have to do this for physical? And they're like, just do it. I'm like, why are you taking pictures? VA disability is none of the employer's business, and the VA would never disclose anything to a company. So I think every vet should go to the VA and get tested and get the machine free of charge. Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. You should always use your own doctor, and if you're getting it free somewhere else, absolutely. Right, absolutely. And don't disclose any of that to the DOT doctor. I like to remember that very bottom line on the eye chart. It really impresses my doctor. Yeah, mine. I did too. It said made in China. The Trucker Ed Show. I got my flu shot for the first time in 3 years. Did anyone else? No, and there's an article out that says don't get it yet. Go look it up. My wife got hers like a month ago. The doctor's all about getting it because I guess they're in commission, flu commission. But there's just an article that says maybe you should wait till November, end of October, November, because the COVIDs are going to make everybody, the flu, get pushed back. That's what they were saying. I thought, oh, that's really something. So one good point, though, you won't need to physical long form when you're in prison. Yeah, Cash is King Trucking. That's true. And you can always get those exams there by somebody. Got my flu shot last year. Took me out for 4 days. I don't recommend it, but again, that's just me. See your doctor for details. I'm going to get my first shot this year at 51. Nice. Gear Jammer, in 39 years, I ran teams 2 trips more than 35 years ago. Haven't done it since and won't do it again. Yeah, because they always say, oh, money. I said, I don't care. I'm going to kill somebody, and I don't think it's safe. I personally don't think it's safe. I think it's unsafe to the point where it almost shouldn't be allowed. It's so unsafe. The roads are horrible. You can't sleep. Every bump you think you're going to die. There's just no way that there's any kind of good teaming. It's just horrible. I don't think you get any kind of good sleep doing it. Just not great about it. Chris is not going to get a flu shot. It's time for me to take a smoke break. I need a smoke break. Leo's Madness. Time. Smoke them if you got them. Mark got sick from it. Yeah, just tired. So you got a little sick. Kevin teamed for 6 years with my brother. That's somebody you know. When I ran out of Ambien, it was time to go home. Rip Scrappy, have a dough sense. He passed on the truck. I'm sorry about that. And look, if you have to take Ambien, that's a good point. If you have to take something to put you to sleep in the truck where you're teaming, it's not worth it. You can't just drug yourself to sleep every day. We're not all Michael Jackson here. Jeez. Ex-Davy Swift, ex-guy used to vacuum at the Goshen polyethylene yard. Don't forget to vote. Everybody should register and vote. The doctor tells you to turn your head so there's no eye contact. No, some of them say, look at me right here. Look at me. I'm like, wow, this is an aggressive physical. Too tired to safety drive a semi is all. I know. I mean, you get so tired by Tuesday night, really. I'm like, so all day I'm just taking all those pills they sell at the truck stop, trying to stay awake. I'm like, take one of these a day? All right, I think I'll take one every 45 minutes. I mean, and I'm like, there's no way this is any kind of good. No way. And so I'm done with that. It doesn't matter what they put up for money. It could be $5,000 for the week. I'm not in. I'm 55, never had a flu shot. My personal belief, it's better and healthier not to. I'm not doing one again. I get sick from them, and I'm out this year. I'm not. The wife seems to get one every year. Seems to be okay. I'm not doing it. Jarvis, in your professional opinion, oh, nice. Which is the best and most reliable truck for hauling freight? Personally, don't like internationals. Always major problems. Well, I mean, look, I like Cascadias. It's been pretty good truck. It's only been a few problems in the time that I've had it. This one, I think can be all okay. Depends how they take care of it. And this one's not taken care of well. So, otherwise, I don't know. It's pretty much all we get are fleet trucks. So, all I get to drive are cheap fleet trucks. Jeanette, Kelly, next flu shot, take Benadryl before the shot, then Zyrtec 4 days after. That's an allergic reaction to the preserve. So I got to protect myself basically from the stuff in the shot. So, yikes. Ever go to sleep in a dream and you're going to crash and wake up? I remember years ago. Oh, How was that? I'll say, why would you remember something in the future? It has to be year ago. I remember 2 years from now. I used to pull containers from Chicago to Lafayette, ironically, when I lived in Chicago. I pulled them to the Subaru plant when the place just opened. We would do 2 a day, and those were some long days. You came down twice and went back up twice. And I remember pulling on a ramp and sleeping just over the steering wheel. And I remember like half days waking up, and I'd look out the windshield like that, and there was a truck like parked in front of me on the ramp. This is when you could park on the ramp a lot safer. And I saw the back of that, and I remember just turning the wheel, and I was smashing the brake down, and it took me probably 10 seconds to realize that I was just sitting. That I was just sitting on a ramp. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I went back in the bed and went to sleep for a while. GP Transco's here, running late today. It's good to see you. How's it going over there? When I teamed, you slept very good. I just can't do it. I mean, and the roads today are just horrible. It was just horrible. Oh, that's a good question. What's GP Transco's policy on pets now that you're here? As long as the doctor doesn't give me a pat on the cheek, he does after running a test, we're okay. Right. They always ask me, well, where is it? Vaccines have about fetal cells in them. Yikes. I don't ever get sick, but thought it'd be good to do the shot for how much I travel to hotspots. I don't know. I'm not in for it anymore. Had a couple, got sick after them, not in on it. Some mega carriers have their own sleep apnea department to address the issues. U.S. Express is one of them. Yeah, Jarvis, right? Jarvis, they do. Some of them make almost everybody, even if you're thin. Some of them have just a weight limit. Some have a neck size. What does that prove? GP Transco does allow pets at no cost. Some pets. If a dog were to chew the steering wheel, the driver would be liable for the repair. Yeah, but not all pets, right? We already determined iguanas are a no-go, that kind of thing. Capuchin monkeys, no-go. So only normal pets. When I worked for Crete, they tried to force me to buy a CPAP machine. I said no. I assume in one, the ruling stated the employer cannot force you to buy medical equipment from them. Oh, that's true. They can't make you buy it from them. They could say, why don't you get one? Yeah, why are they doing that? Because they get a kickback. It would have to be that. Otherwise, why would they care? Hanzuli gets a flu shot out of a rum bottle. Wow. Out of a rum bottle. Internationally, you want to get the X15 Cummins, a true. The ProStar engine is garbage. They're actually good trucks with the Cummins, Alexandria. Maybe the new LTs are nicer inside. ZF built a self-driving international daycare that will go drop your trailer for you, and you can go inside while it's doing so. The only issue is someone has to crank the legs down and unlock the lines, unhook the lines. They'll figure that out because UPS trailers, some of them, already have air legs. They have a lever on the front of the trailer. I remember this from years ago when I used to take trailers back and forth in Chicago from rail to rail. We'd pick up a UPS trailer, and you just pull the lever, hook the hoses, and it's right there. Give air to the trailer and the lever, and the legs went up. So there's no reason they couldn't figure that out. Disagree. If you do not pay attention to politics and pay attention to the down ballot, you do not vote. Please save everyone the headache. No, everybody should vote for their candidate. As Thomas Jefferson said, vote for the person that you want to win. The doctor wanted me to look at a pen. Well, he did my sports physical. I said, move so I don't have to look you in the eye there, creeper. Nice. The doctor doing the physicals on 13-year-olds, right? The parents would be in there. I'd be in there. See him watching that. Impossible to get the flu from a flu shot. I hear that argument. Does a rattlesnake die if they accidentally bite his lips? Gear Jammer, I'm not saying I got the flu from it. I'm saying I got sick from it. Like, really sick. So, did I get the flu? I don't know about that. I will say, the last flu shot I got, which was last year, I got so sick that I've actually talked to the doctor about it since, and he said I might have had the COVIDs. He goes, did you ever think you got the COVIDs from it? I said, well, I got sick like the day after the shot and was sick for like 4 days. Like super sick, and I coughed for a month. But this was in January probably, so I don't know. No one's testing, and he said there'd be no way to do a test today to see if I had it then. So, and it was right away. And the shot I got a few years before that, same thing. Next day, super sick. So for me, because of that, I'm out. Is it the flu? I don't know, but it does make me sick. It could be millions, honestly, depending on the damage, property. Oh, right. What accident are we talking about here? Did I miss an accident? If the dog chews off the steering wheel, you're going to crash. I've had some cars that look like the dog chewed the steering wheel. I guess I didn't see that. Depends on which wreck. Yeah, I didn't see it. Back when you can do 5 on 5 off was way better than what they have now. They're working on it. 7-3 is not bad considering both sections stop your clock and you can do them in either order. That's better than it was. Remember, because we've had this problem, and I don't know why I would have to say this. If you're in a day cab, you cannot log sleeper berth time. So you have to actually have a sleeper berth to log sleeper berth time. Back in the day, Averett, company doctor, used to be the one that administered the sleep test and sold the machine. Oh, well, how convenient is that? Here's a test. Oh, you have sleep apnea, but I have a machine for you. That's all. That's a huge scam. What are your requirements at GP Transco? Well, that's very good. Yeah, Schneider's another. They're huge on those tests. Does a house goat count as a pet? What is a house goat? I picture like a goat wearing, sitting around in a smoking jacket watching TV. Although I don't know how they would change the channels on the remote. I like my Volvo VNR. If it's new, call and see if it's been recalled. All fleet trucks are bad no matter the make. You get a much higher quality truck when you order it yourself because they pay attention to detail. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a cheap truck. Absolutely. We just got power windows when they changed the body of these trucks to this new Cascadia. They were crank windows until probably 2016. And they would order them special that way. So I totally agree with you. Rates are down today. Kansas City anyway. All right. They're still up overall though, right? What if I do the steering wheel? Does the dog have to pay? Make the dog pay for that. Well, if he could pose in that picture of those dogs playing poker, he could at least make some money. If you get sick after a flu shot because you're already sick before the shot. Well, it's funny that I only get sick after the shot. Like I'm fine all year. I go get a shot and then boom, I'm sick for a week and cough for a month. But the doctor suggests that it could have been the COVIDs. Maybe. He goes, maybe you got it early. We have Purdue here. People travel back and forth to China from Purdue a lot. And so it could have been. He said, maybe you had it. I go, yeah, maybe I got it right after the shot. I'm really something. Cassius King, your opinion is voting is a waste of time. It's been decided by people with money or big business. That's interesting. That's, I always thought that, but until H. Ross Perot ran. Remember him? That guy spent so much money, did not win. So it's really people that are in power try to stay in power. I think it's the power even more than money. I hear now Crete will allow people to use their own machine now as long as they send the results once a month. Being sued change their policy. Oh, imagine that. Maybe we should change our policy. What's the difference as long as they get the results or whatever that they're trying to get? Virus mutates every 20 minutes. Unlike bacteria, viruses contain DNA, so think evolution. That's what I want. An evolutionary virus that just keeps following me around. That's worse than the murder hornets that never materialized. The Osmandus, is the emergency declaration still going? Because I'm on it, I'm not sure. Yes, it is. If you're hauling some of the exempt products like food, sanitizers, all that, December 31st, you have the rest of the year. And they extended the date to renew your CDL as well and your physical, ironically, that we're talking about, through the end of the year, depending when it expired. So there's a couple of different sections. But yeah, the emergency exemption, end of the year. Keep hauling food and all that all year. Don't need to sleep until January. You're better off need a handful of mud and drink some water from the water hose. Well, we all used to do that, Joshua Knight. Kids today don't. That's how you'd get a drink in the summertime because you can't keep going in and out of the house. Why? Because what are you trying to do? Cool the neighborhood? So you had to stay outside and the water hose, well, as soon as you turned it on, the water's 8 billion degrees because the hose is sitting outside. So I'm sure everybody that's in their extreme upper 30s remember that. I'm getting another cat. I love my fur friends, Alexander. Oh, that would be great. Keep getting them. I wish I could get another one here. Which means you're already sick no matter which version of the virus. Maybe. We do not allow some exotic pets. Yeah, that's the problem. 1 year in trucking experience. Class A CDL, 3 years of no-fault accidents, and 7 years of clean criminal. And then you're in. They are choosy there. So don't come in with 12 felonies or whatever. So vaccines are supposed to help prevent getting sick. It's not for a sure time everything. Some vaccines work better than others. I just didn't feel like I was getting any kind of good anything out of it. I got sick after each one, and I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to be sick for a month to get a vaccine when I never got the flu. I'm like, I'm just getting it because everybody recommends it, but I never got the flu, so why should I take the shot? So this year I'm going to roll the dice. Ross Perot a lot of money by your standards. Well, yeah, I would say. And my standards. But as far as that old money in those big businesses, he was relatively poor. Well, but he put a lot of money into the election, is what I'm saying. And you probably remember that. You were just a baby then. But H. Ross Perot, he put tons of money into the election, tons of money in the election. And it was just a gigantic sucking sound. Rule number 1, never trust a company doctor, Jason. I tell people that all the time. Do not take any medical advice from the DOT doctor. Okay, go see your own doctor who has your interest, not the doctor from the company. Certainly. Home over the road, we're old. I know. You remember the garden hose sitting outside, the green hose? Oh, yeah, the one that's sitting in the mud that's been out there all week? Yeah, let's drink out of that. Of course, you have to point it away from you because the water that comes out of it when you turn it on has been sitting in the sun and it melts the aluminum siding off your house, which they don't have anymore either. It's vinyl. Chef Matt, look up in the ingredients on the flu vaccine. I didn't see that it said calorie count, servings, and all that. When I did, it said that explains a lot. Not taking vaccines. Haven't been vaccinated since. I do not consent. Yeah, where would I find the ingredients? I mean, it's such a small container. Wilbon has 5 years experience. How could they contact you? Well, you could go do this. Let's see. I've got this thing here. If I could find it over here. There it is. How about that? Yeah, we could do that. They're hiring. If you've got the drive, they've got the teal truck. How about that? The teal truck. Yep, you may not get a teal truck. I should always say that. Somebody will say something about it. Off-gassing the water hose had to run it longer. Yeah, exactly. It would come out, you'd burn your friend some to the hospital. Got my driver's license renewed, Jeanette, today. So happy to pass the hazmat test. All right, so you got that all good, too? Is a howler monkey considered a normal pet? It depends. It could be an adverse condition pet. Usually when someone rails against vaccines, it's for some anti-vaxxer crap. Kelly, not really. I think, look, I get vaccinated for all kinds of stuff, right? But this flu shot, no, I'm not a fan of it because I personally got sick. I've had 3 of them over probably the last 10 years. I was sick right after each one. And so for me, it's making me sick. I'm like, I basically couldn't function for almost a month. So look how much Bloomberg spent to lose a primary. Yeah, I mean, the money isn't necessarily a thing. I don't have Wilbon, I don't have 12 felonies. Perfect. You're all set then. Do you mean more? You have more or less? That's the question. Yeah, congratulations on passing the hazmat. You're good now for a while, and you can make some extra money with that. Hopefully. I see a lot of companies pay extra for hazmat, which they should. If you tell the doctor when he asks you if you snore, simply say no. If you want to have a sleep apnea test in your own time, get one for yourself. That's not a bad idea too, but always say no to that. If you say yes, then they're like, oh, test. Right. Forget it, test. They also sell a retainer. The question really is on the snoring, are you tired during the day? Like, do you have to nap all day and stuff? I mean, are you getting a good night's sleep? If not, and you need the machine, then for certainly go get it because you want to get a good night's sleep. But if you get a good night's sleep and you're up all day and you don't have to nap in the afternoon, then you've slept good. That's what I think. But I'm not a doctor, it turns out. They also sell a retainer-style mouthpiece or nose clip to help with your breathing at night, so you don't have to use the CPAP machine. Well, a retainer. I currently have a 75-pound yellow lab. Could I get a Komodo dragon, too? What would the lab think about that? That's the question. The hose water is boiling. Yeah, you'd turn it on and point it at the garage, and I burned a hole in the garage once. I'm like, holy mackerel, sorry about that. I didn't realize it was 17 billion degrees. All the answers they hazmat test are on Google. Great. I used Adverse once in 19 years. I-40 west of Cottonwood, flash flood covered the highway. Closed the road with no warning. Yeah, that certainly would work. Under this, you had no way to know that. I mean, certainly. People try to use it for a lot of stuff. It's okay as long as you don't get caught at it. It's one of those things. Because if you're up for an audit, you'll have to explain what happened and why you didn't know about it in advance. It turns out from watching these electronic logs and how they work when you turn them in, if you turn it in, when you sign it out electronically at the end of the day and it goes back to wherever it goes for your company, as long as it's legal, nobody's probably going to look at it because there's just no way to do it. So it would just be later in a audit where you'd have a problem. You got sick because you're ginger. Light cream colored horses get reactions to all vaccines. Sunburns and rashes. I do get sunburns. I do. That is true. That's why whenever you see me, if you ever see me, I'm in long sleeves year round. Summer and winter, I'm out with a hat and long sleeves all the time. Because I burn in a few minutes. I'm burned up, really, outside. So, absolutely. I didn't know about that, though. What's up, Ding? That's a fat cat. Where's all that going on? GP, do you have any manuals at all? I don't know. Banned from Facebook for 3 weeks for an off-color joke about Muslims. Alexander, what's your opinion on censorship? Well, my opinion is probably different than some people. That Facebook is private, and they do probably go farther than I would on censorship, but we don't have a right to post on Facebook, so they could probably ban people for whatever they want. And then, it's the government. Freedom of speech is Congress shall pass no law. So it's not the government banning you. You still could post that, whatever you posted anywhere. But should Facebook be able to ban you? Yeah, I think so, if they want to. Is it a good idea for them? No, because they lose people on Facebook. So, but censorship, it's private. It's so private. Thanks, I don't need a teal truck. Good, because you may or may not get one. What company did I say I drive for? Oh, I didn't. I've not put that out there. So for new people, I do the show at 12:30 every week, 12:30 p.m. And I don't ever say where I work. Keep some out of your videos. There's so many people the company might say, well, you can't say that or whatever. So we don't want to put them in the video. And also, I don't recruit for the company. So even though they're running ads right now, let them go find their own drivers. I say, I'm not recruiting for them. That's how I do it here. Thank you for GP Transco. Thank you for saying teal is not guaranteed. We had a guy leave orientation because he refused to take a non-teal truck. Really? Well, was that because of me? Did he say Mark said I get a teal truck, or did he just want a teal truck? That's first, because I would feel bad about that, honestly. But there is the color of truck is not guaranteed at GP Transco or at most companies, to be honest. But did he say Mark said I'm getting a teal truck, or Mark said on his channel that I get a teal truck? And who would leave over a truck color? What kind of stupid thing is that? Guaranteed by Mark, a unicorn truck, captive flatbed. Exactly. That's crazy. Google it. They're all patented. By who? That's the even more shocking part. Bill Gates? Really? The owner of Microsoft, who's helping us do this right now? Oh, George Wilson, that's a good idea. Let me get over to that here. And I have this new cat this week. Let's see where it went off to. Oh, right. How about this? How about Skittles? That's an award-winning cat right there from the American Cat Fanciers. I don't know what this thing is, right? Skittles. How about that? Persian Tortie. Love it. So cute. Where'd this go off to? Let's see. That's stupid to walk out of a job. I mean, who leaves for a truck color? GP Transco, good thing nothing would have made the driver happy. Yeah, I mean, GP Transco, I think you dodged a bullet on this. I mean, because that's not a great reason to leave. Driver refused to take a Volvo. At that moment, it was all we had. He would have gotten a Cascade if he waited a few weeks. Who wouldn't take? Oh, I'm not taking that truck. I mean, look, I'll say this. Okay, you can be as particular as you want. So if you're a driver and you're like, I only want to drive a certain truck that's a certain color, you should be upfront with the company about that, so that everybody's up front and right away. Don't waste their time and they won't waste your time. I will only drive a Cascadia and only this color truck, and tell them that. So I think everybody'd be better off doing that. Wow. Sores in my mouth are from the thousandary brass fittings from drinking from the hose. Exactly. Oh my gosh, you would forget and put that thing, and the hose and the boiling water. What a mess. Blood, screaming. Oh, what a great time it was growing up in the 70s. Never had a good night's sleep, but my arthritis might have something to do with that. Right. So it's not apnea, it's arthritis. You should use Boniva. That's what Sally Field uses. Doctors have an incentive to fail you, so you continue to be a customer. I guess. I mean, maybe a DOT doctor. My hope is always that doctors do it because they want to make you better and help people and stuff like that. Companies on death watch. I mean, Roadrunner's 235. It hasn't gone anywhere. It was 260 a couple weeks ago. I mean, really? I'm still with them. They brought that guy from Celadon. Turns out it didn't help that much. GP Transfer needs to call Matchbox. Have them make a GP Raptor. Well, from what I understand, they're considering buying Raptors at each terminal for drivers to use, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. As long as the truck is clean and presentable. I mean, here's a Volvo. Oh, forget that. Who do I look like, Abba? You have fuel discounts and maintenance. Okay, so it's probably for the best. Yeah, GP Transfer, I think you did good on this guy leaving. Park 3 generation was successful. Passing Lafayette. All right. Let's see. Told Josh you guys probably dropped the bullet. No doubt about it. I mean, that's crazy. When you figure out how much that guy that rode the horse on the Dan Ryan got charged for a toll? No, but you know what? That guy, look, I don't agree with blocking the interstates and stuff, which I've talked about here. He should be arrested for federal charges, but the horse was injured doing that. One of its hoofs was injured from running on the street and stuff. That I didn't like that more. He should have been charged with animal cruelty also. I didn't like that at all. Take care of your animal. I told you the criminal element cartels have been subjecting unassuming citizens to nanotechnology via cell phone signals and networks. I could get banned. Wow, that's something. It's teal or no deal. Right. That's what people are going to be saying. Those are just bend and stoop tests, occupational. He didn't sing about you saying it. Good. Okay. He really wanted a Cascading. We only had a Volvo at the moment. Well, I mean, as a company driver, sometimes you got to take whatever they give you, but as long as the Volvo's fine, especially when you say you'll get a Cascadia. Look, you're better off gone with that one. That is somebody very specific. And believe me, you'd have gotten calls in the future with other problems. I also pointed out that the drivers, we at the public sees in the image they get of the company. Yeah, exactly. I joined late. The Joker's here. Hey, what's going on? The drivers are the only ones who could truly control how we're seen. That's why we're so selective about who we hire. I wish more companies were a little more selective about who they hire. About $40 worth of rattle cans, you can have a teal truck. Wow. That would be something. I want a picture of that if that ever happens. I demand a certain truck color and the build date. The build date has to end in 3. That's a very specific request. I also need to see the build sheet on this truck. Just placed our first ever order of Hyundai trailers, 200 of them. Oh, yeah, we have a bunch of those Hyundai trailers with liftable axles. I see those all the time. I don't have one now. What am I got today? Some Great Dane, I think. Some old Great Dane. But I've gotten a ton of those Hyundai trailers. I'm like, oh, what do you know? Hyundai. Look it up for yourself. He gets a cut of the vaccine revenue. His worth to society will quickly make sense. Well, that isn't any good. 70s, don't you mean 90s? Yes. The 1990s, 70s. Exactly. When we still had garden hoses in the yard. Oh, Chris, can you bring your own trailer? That's a good question. I don't think anybody's asked them that. Can you run your own trailer, GP Transco? How does that work? Lately, many new drivers think the company works for them and not their work for the company. Hunsley, I know people need to get, look, and you should be a little specific about what you want and not tolerate garbage, but as an employee, you still got to kind of go with the flow of stuff. I give a lot of grief for the company, but there's still stuff you just got to go with. Like you're an employee, and so like truck choice and that, the truck's got to be legal and safe for the road. So otherwise, I don't care what kind of truck it is, right? They still pay me either way. What's the difference? I've driven even internationals with that stupid Max Force in it, which was horrible. One time I had to regen it 3 times. The Evansville and back. Parked regen. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. I always said I would leave because of the truck. The seat was broken because the driver that had it was over 500 pounds. And there was moldy food in the cabinets. And they gave me a new truck. See, they shouldn't have handed that out. That should be checked. And that's legitimate, okay? The seat's got to work. And the food, look, they're just saying, look, we're just giving you some food. But yeah, that's a legitimate thing. Just to say, oh, I'm not taking a Volvo is crazy. And it has to be teal. That's ridiculous. You're a company driver. That guy should go buy his own truck. And then he can have whatever color he picks out, whatever kind of truck. Then you can get your choice of truck. Doctors don't have an incentive to fail you for the money. The incentive, the longer you live, the more they make. Yeah, I mean, look, I use a doctor in West Lafayette. I like the guy. And he seems to have your best interests. He'll sit there and talk to you and stuff. So as a personal doctor, I'm happy with that. The DOT doctor, they have an incentive to get more money from the company, roll you through the physical. Jason, right, if you want to choose a truck, make and color, buy your own. Exactly. Go buy your own truck. You can get whatever color you want. You could set all your own rules, everything. Cash is King Trucking. I wonder why the guy on the horse got arrested, but all the people that stand on the bridge in Minneapolis did not. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that maybe because people were griping that the horse was bleeding too? So that could be part of it. But yeah, he did get arrested. I agree with you. And they all should be arrested. There was protests in New York City, right? As an aside, only because this affects trucking, they were blocking the bridges. Okay, that affects trucking. You can't get through. That's a felony. You can't stop interstate commerce. That's the felony. And anybody that does it should be arrested immediately. Simple. It's a federal felony. As a company driver, you also have a choice, stay or leave. That's correct. Eventually, if they have some kind of policy and you talk to them about it and they go, we're not changing it, then that's your only choice. You either accept it and comply with it, or you leave, or you eventually get fired as a company driver. You want to write all your own rules, you got to buy your own truck. Jeanette, that poor horse had a bleeding sore from an ill-fitting saddle. Right. Cruel to horse to use cheap saddles. I agree, right. There was that too. There was something wrong with his hoof too. The saddle was not right on it. Yeah. And the horse, was being mistreated. That horse should be taken away from him. He should be charged with animal cruelty and blocking the interstate. I totally agree. On YouTube, there's some new guy from Russia. 2021 Cascadia, 13-speed and safety green. Okay, great. Sounds like a Russia. They got an awesome truck. I'm up for that. I wish I could get a 13-speed. That I would like that. Yeah, GP transfer. The truck just needs to be in good condition. If the company is presenting you a truck where the seat is not broken and the food's not moldy, I think you're okay. Now I have some blue cheese in the refrigerator. Does that count? Kelly Patterson can order a Western Star with a 90-inch office style sleeper on crimson red. Oh, that'd be great. What if a company like, say, GP Transco or some company, when you come to work there, they give you like a list and you can just check box the list, and while you're getting ready to go to orientation, they order you a truck, and that in your color, all the same kind. Oh boy, that'd be great from a company driver perspective, not from their side of it, but it wouldn't make sense, but I think it'd be wonderful. Not only my truck have to be a specific color, my dispatcher has to be Pisces. Oh, I only work for Pisces. The Leo, I can't do it. You probably went the DD16, 600 horsepower and 18 speed. Oh, I only take 13. I think 18 is too much. We're planning to do something like that to our 1 million mile drivers. Yeah, I'd say 1 million is not a bad idea. It's at least upscale the truck, or at least put a sticker on the truck. How about a sticker? Their name and million safe miles, that kind of thing. And a jacket or something they can wear around. And if you're at Schneider, 58 patches. The nicer the truck, usually the lower the pay. Some places, yeah. Big Pizza Denver pay 36 cents. That's right. Western, and they pay 36 cents. But hey, it is a nice truck. They win awards. If he would have took the Volvo, was it teal? I don't think the Volvos are teal. I think they're white. Let's not forget leather swivel seats. Oh, heated. That would be nice. Like I said, I saw that guy in a Volvo a few weeks ago, and he hit the button like a car, and the lights blinked and the doors locked, like remote locking. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Rubber horseshoes are available for riding on hard surface. George Wilson. I know, but this horse wasn't shoed properly, and the saddle wasn't right. I mean, that's no way to treat a horse. I mean, the horse has no choice on it. I mean, come on. Why didn't the horse just drive him around in the car? I've seen Mr. Ed. There are 3 sides to every story. The plaintiffs, the defendants, and the truth. That's true, right? Captain Flatbed has an 18-speed with a tuner on it, and it's a beast. I know, your truck is crazy. The 500-pounder had moldy food in his truck, so he was on a diet. Oh, he wasn't eating the food. He's like, I got to keto this down here. We all say that local drivers tend to be extremely good when put on OTR. Really? Most companies won't put you on over the road if you've been local. I know that I would have a tough time if I wanted to go on the road after being local for so long. They're like, you don't have any recent experience over the road, so forget it. It's amazing. I'd have to go with a trainer at Swift. A company doctor is going to protect the company. Independent is going to protect the patient. You always want someone on your side, right? Like Sam Nunn. Kelly, a lot of your drivers already have that many miles. I think the million should be at the company. I've seen it. Who is it? Ozark. Years at the company and total miles. They could do that kind of thing. So, yeah. Thank you for the information. You're going to add it to the companies considering. Chris Keller. All right. So, Teal GP Transco on I-20. Of course, nowhere near here. And I see a lot of the Volvos here, too, even though they don't have many. And white Cascadias. They have 400 company drivers. Kelly, right at GP Transco about. You can see all the details there. I want a 379 Peterbilt with 3 sticks because I feel the need to compensate. Wow. It's all day shifting. Your right arm gets gigantic from all that work. Right arm and left foot. So you're like, oh, you must have one of those 3-stick Pete's. Prime does that for long-standing company drivers. Yeah, I wish all companies did that. Why don't they post that kind of stuff? I saw a 4 million mile roadway truck. It's been a while since there's no roadway trucks. The truck said 4 million safe miles at roadways, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Told my company I didn't want my name on the truck. Prefer to be incognito. Dave Johnson. Well, if you don't want it, I wouldn't make you put the sticker on there. How about if we just put on there 1 million safe mile driver or something like that, or however many miles. That would be all right. Hunsley Scanning introduces the new V8 today. 770 horsepower and 2550 torque. I know they get all the great trucks in Europe, and then they can only go like 58 miles an hour. It's so disappointing. They have the super nice looking trucks, great engines and stuff, and they're slow. They can't go that fast. Chris Keller, got to get him to order your brand new Great Dane 48-foot spread axle van. Stainless walls and doors. Wow. A 48 spread axle van. That's not something you see all the time. That's a sexy engine. Yeah, I bet that thing runs great. How do we get one of those over here and do a test drive of that? Do you think the reason why some companies didn't hire local drivers from the road is they use paper logs? I don't know. I find it to be reverse. They won't hire local drivers for the road. So it's usually at companies, if you call up to get a local job at a company that has like mostly road drivers and then some local drivers like to deliver loads, it's the road drivers that go into those local spots. They don't ever have any local jobs open. Because I called Styline Logistics in Huntingburg. That's a good example, right? Because we'll eventually move down there. They have a terminal in Huntingburg. And I thought, oh, perfect. They have local jobs. They have day cabs. I called them. And she's like, oh, absolutely not. She goes, all those jobs, including a waiting list, are filled by our road drivers that want to go local. She said, so all we could do is put you in over the road and then you'd get on the list. And they have the big Volvos and stuff, 2-window Volvos. But I'm like, no. So I want one of those local jobs. And they're like, no, those are filled, no problem. So I think a lot of companies, that's how it works. GP Transco, but our local drivers can really back well. That's true, right? Get around complicated obstacles, downtown areas, or things like that. I know, but what I'm saying is that most companies don't see it that way. They just see, oh, well, this driver's been local, and they think like that doesn't count for anything. Now, a lot of local drivers might back up 20 times a day, 20 or 30 times a day in the complicated small areas and stuff, but road companies don't see it like that. They go, oh, well, you're not driving a whole 500 miles a day, and so we don't want you to work here. They should see it as the other way, that they're probably back up way more and stuff. What's the etiquette? I'm wearing a jacket from your previous company at your new job. Yes, it's King Trucking. You know what I tell people? Wear it in there until they give you a jacket from their company. And when they say, well, what are you doing with that jacket? Go, well, I never got one from here. And see if they'll get your jacket. Callum is getting ready to crown the industry's first billion-mile driver. I'd love to see that on a truck. How many patches would a Schneider driver have for that? He'd have to wear like sashes, like the Klingon sashes or Boy Scout sashes with all the extra patches, and probably would have a train, almost like a bride, where two lesser KLLM drivers, his students, would have to walk behind him holding his train as he walks through the truck stop with all the patches, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, all the way down, like 7 feet behind him. Gilbert, I just moved to Illinois. Failed to do my research. Illinois requires CDL holders to retake written and road tests. Well, congratulations. Welcome to Illinois, by the way. Most people just say, I just moved out of Illinois and I couldn't be happier. Wow. GP Transco is going to add 200 more trucks, 60 of them for replacement. All right, nothing crazy. Got to grow slowly. Well, that's true. Yeah, nothing crazy. It's 140 extra trucks. Jeanette has 3 million mile stickers, and guys still try to tell me how to back up. I think it's because I'm blonde. Yeah, that's offensive. And I'd say, look, why don't you get back in your truck there, Jimmy Bob, or whatever your name is, right? That, that's crazy. They don't think that, they don't think you can back up. Yeah, we had Skittles on here. Remember Skittles? Who else do I have over here? Oh, I have this cat, right? Oh, let's see. Oh, you're here today, right? So there's another fur. And more, it's Torty Day. Where did this go? If this will pop up here on the screen, there it is. Ah, a dilute Torty. Right. Dilute. Oh. I'll get another one eventually. Can you blame the EU for the slow European trucks? That's socialism for you. Yeah, exactly. But why do they need 700 horsepower when they can go 58 miles an hour? It's a sad thing, really. All the regulations, cameras, paying time away from home, trucking just isn't worth it. The home time, is a big deal. Depending, if you're single and 21 or early 20s or actually any age and single, go and live in the truck for 5 or 6 years and just save all that money. Don't have anywhere to live. Don't even have a car. But otherwise, I don't know. If you wear it, make it a parrot. Christina, exactly. Put red and blues with the sirens. You could bypass traffic jams. Then you wouldn't need adverse conditions. Don't actually put red, blue, the police impersonation. I got in trouble in Nevada. Oh, my gosh. Early driving. I had the blue lights be on the sleeper. I had them blue because we had blue trailers. I think this was Baxter Pharmaceuticals. And so I changed out the sleeper lenses. We could change the lenses. These were actual bulbs. I put blue and would light up the front of the trailer at night. I got pulled over. She goes, do you know why I stopped you? I go, not exactly. Oh, well, you got these blue lights on it. People could confuse you for a police vehicle. I'm like, really? They could confuse this for a police vehicle? Yeah. She goes, if you'll turn them off, I won't write you a ticket. Don't turn them back on in Nevada. I said, okay, deal. Turned them off and put the lenses back out. Put red lenses and never got a problem. Million mile safety stickers not paid for all my time saving company money stickers. How about that? I've got here 500 unpaid hour stickers. That's what companies should put out. We almost always promote current over-the-road drivers, GP Transco, to local, and usually do not hire local drivers from the outside. So you have the same deal. You have plenty of drivers that would like to go local that already work there. That's what they were saying at Styline. They would have been happy to put me over the road, actually, even though I told them I didn't have road experience. But no local. You have to go on a list, and she had a waiting list for that. So I said, well, maybe we'll see each other someday. I said, George Wilson, new drivers should carefully study 391.41 physical qualifications to save them a headache if they have medical problems. It's not a hard thing to pass, but yeah, look it over and see if you could pass. And maybe get a physical on your own. Go pay and see what they say. Oh, which rhymes. But seriously, go find a DOT doctor in your area if you think you won't pass it. And go pay for a physical. And say, look, I'm just paying for this myself. I'm an owner-operator, so send me the physical. Give me the physical. That's what you could tell them, and give them their $50 or $60 or whatever, and see what they say. And if you pass, then you actually have a current physical. Don't forget the strobe light to change the lights to green. Oh, that'd be great. I've seen some people doing that. Screw. Alexander, you moved out of Illinois. I know. I'm getting ready to park the 92 FLD. Jason, wow. I'm about to purchase a W900. Holy mackerel. Now I'll need an ELD. Yeah, no doubt. Plus, you'll need a bigger right arm to shift that thing. I worked for Carol Fulmer. Volunteered to work local on Saturday, moved 40 trailers, backing them at a dock at both ends, drop and hooked each time. Way too much for the day. That's a lot of work. But a local driver that does that every day, then it goes home. So that's can be worth it. Alexander, there's Nigma. I know. So cute. New hours of service are here in a few hours. George Costanza, I'm so glad the ATA is looking out for truckers. Yes, all they care about is your safety over there. GP is really good about home time. Yeah, that's what other people that work there say, that they get you home when you guys arrange to get home. State of Tennessee and Florida both have semi-trucks for traffic enforcement. Good. Tennessee has a Pete with a 72-inch bunk. I wonder if they have to log that. I guess the driver would have to log it. Oh, no, they might be under short haul exemption. The new 2021 Volvos are great for those of you planning or considering getting into one. Runs like a top. They look good, too. Freightliner to make a 4-cylinder diesel tractor engine designed to get excellent fuel economy in traffic. Aviator, that's possible. I don't see why it's not possible. I had that Explorer for a month as a loaner. It only had a 4-cylinder in it, and it got great mileage and had plenty of power. So I think as we go through the years, we realize, I even thought, this is not going to be enough engine. But then I'm like, wait, technology comes around. And so the smaller engine might be plenty of power to roll around town. I mean, look, years ago, we only had 300 horsepower, 250 horsepower, right? There are people on here that had way less than that, and people used to drive across the country. All states have semis with red and blue lights. They're mobile command centers. Oh, that'd be interesting to see that thing. I think we're too small of a town here to have one where I am. How would you measure the fuel economy? Feet per gallon, trips in that large car? Oh, that'd be something. Didn't that state trooper know that blue lights are because you're special? Is there a weight restriction on the physicals? There's no weight restriction on the physicals. You just have to be able to pass the physicals. So, but some doctors, as people will say here, at a certain weight, they'll just say you need sleep apnea. So that is a problem. We've got a guy's, mid to high 4s, easily closing in on 5 bills. Okay, and he passes his physical, so he has a cane. So, but no, if you can do like bend over, you got to do the touch your nose and stuff like that. So no, there's no weight limit on a physical. A company can, I don't think a company could even say weight limit. If you pass the physical, I think you pass the physical. I don't think they can discriminate like that. Kelly, make it a 13-speed manual? Yes, better for gear hill climbing. I agree. Over the road should be 13 speeds. Agree. Split them for hills. Had a 2002 D40 cylinder. It was a slug. Well, this is 18 years, though. It's going to still have more power. I mean, that Explorer had 300 horsepower from a 2.3 four-cylinder to Mustang engine in it, and it did great. So no problem. It's 6.8 to 60. It's faster than my Escape. Not bad. GP Transport rewards the top 50% of drivers every month for good mileage. All right. I'm in. Can't put a price tag on going home every night. Paul Vines. That's exactly correct. And I don't think it's bad to be on the road. If you want to be on the road, do it. There's something in trucking for everybody. For me at this point in my life, it's home every day. So I've moved into the local, but there's road for everybody, and some people might live on the road, and it works for them. Whatever works for you is the thing. Some people going home every day wouldn't like it. We get people that quit all the time. Say, oh, forget this. I'm going back on the road. We had people go on the road just not that long ago. I just bought lunch. Smithfield just pulled in with a load of pigs. Not hungry anymore. Oh, that's not right. Don't eat that in front of them. At GP Transport is not going to order manuals. Yeah, lower mileage. I get it. That's most companies. We're not ordering any manuals. It's been a couple of years since they ordered any. We still have a few left, but they said the same thing. No more manuals. All automatics. If your BMI is very high, you'll need a mandatory sleep apnea. It's not mandatory by the DOT. It's your company doing it. Here, the company says no. It's between you and the doctor. So it's not a mandatory thing. But you can pass a physical at any weight as long as you pass the physical, meaning the weight isn't the thing. They go, you're just too big. They don't say that. So it may be some other reason. So don't think like your weight's too much. You can't pass. That's not going to be true. I don't usually sleep in the truck, but in a day cab isn't much cheaper. I like the T680. Drove years ago in the same line of sight. Well, we get people that gripe all the time, though. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get in the docks. Whenever they have to get a sleeper, there's a few sleepers around. Oh, my gosh. And so we get that griping, too. My local doctor gave me, DOT doctor gave me 3 months. Wow. Wanted me to get a sleep test. Got a second opinion. Got a 1 year. Nice. Does that overrule the first guy? I saw a guy in New York and North Carolina last week need a step ladder to get into his old cab over. Wow. It comes with steps. Was he big, or did he just need a ladder? Or did they rust off of there like some of them did? Chef Matt, only a 10, try 18. You can make better time because of having a gear for every circumstance. That's true, but I think I would still go 13. As tech gets better, automatics will be better than manuals. It's up to snuff. I mean, it gets great mileage. First doctor said it was due to neck diameter. I know some of them don't really examine you. They just go, okay, it's 30 inches. Well, that'd be a big neck, wouldn't it? 18 inches or 30 inches. Your neck's this big. You have goiters. That's what they'd say. But yes, some of them don't. They just measure you and go, sleep apnea. That's not right. I could definitely put a price tag on not going home every night. Cash is king. Exactly. Everybody finds a different thing in trucking. For you, staying out, it might be the thing. And then there's something for everybody. Many drivers will argue that right now that the new automatics are as good or better than manuals. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'd still rather have a 13-speed manual. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to drive that truck because it's an automatic. And it's a Volvo, I'd say. Volvo's trying to have an engine run at 900 at 65. Wow. Slower RPMs is the key to less pollution. Look, mine goes 1175 at 65. When I loaded Smithfield, I'm a vegan for 3 days. Yikes. Just put all my stuff in storage to save for a truck next spring. Jason, yeah, look, if you want it, go get it. I could put a price on not being home every night. Nothing to go home to, so why pay for rent or mortgage? If you got nothing at home, there's really no point in paying for a rent. Live in the truck for a few years and just save that money. What do they say? Stack that cheddar. That's what the kids say. Cassius King, I see your doctor was saying you won the BMI. He said it was the highest score he'd ever seen. Congratulations. You're our first 3-digit BMI. Absolutely no weight limit on a DOT physical. Jason, I've seen 600-pound, a future cast member couldn't make it from the field. Oh, I remember that guy. That's right. That guy was a driver. That's right. That guy was huge. Worked for a company that asked if I had sleep issues. Found out they're looking for drivers who need ELD to spend more time in the sleeper. Kenneth, sorry you're late. Tell Grace I'll pay her up with a bag of treats. Oh, she would appreciate that. I can hear her over there at her food, crunching her food right now. Chris Keller, 18's useless unless you run heavy haul. I think the extra ones are not needed just over the road. The guy with the stepladder was pretty big, 450 and 500. Oh, see, so he passed his physical. There's no weight limit. 13 is just an 18 with no splitting the lower end. Right, I think on the road you don't really need to split the low end of it unless you're way overweight. The only thing I don't like about the current auto shifters is the hesitation. When you learn to compensate, it's not bad, but still annoying. Especially on greens. That's the only problem I have, really. You're coming up to a red light, and it turns green, and then you step on it, and nothing. It has to think about what it's going to do for the next 10 minutes before it decides what it's going to do. It's always important to try to get exercise, even if it's the kind in bed. Hey, whatever burns the calories. What company helps a person if they have to apply for SR22? Oh, I don't know. I would say not a trucking company. If you're on an SR22, which is mandatory insurance thing, that's a problem. 30-inch neck, that'd be something. Like, where's your head? It's inside your neck somewhere. Automatics are dangerous. They promote distractions. Cars have proved this for years. Most cars are automatics, though. Best over the road work is line haul. For some people love doing stops. I heard. Every time I get my physical, the doctor opens the door. I agree with him. My best Jane Fonda workout leotard. And scream at the top of my lungs, let's get physical. I would go, oh, right, my Olivia Newton-John ones. I have an SR22. What do I have to do? My suspension only 5 years old, going on 6, and I paid my fines. Well, Brandon, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. And I'll tell you, it's going to be very hard to get a job driving a truck. I would call Western Express, as much as I hate to say that. If you have a CDL, they may put you in a truck, maybe. Most places are going to want that old, especially depending on what you got it for. I hear get that bread nowadays. Bread? Hey, man, can you loan me some bread? Automatic, I don't know. Is it 1977 yet? Automatic transmissions are not terrible, but these fleets think they know better by locking the features on. Jason, oh, absolutely. I cannot go in manual mode. I still have power, the power mode, but I can't go in manual mode. It's locked out. Chef Matt, I put a 6-figure take-home price tag on driving regardless of who it is. I'm more for time. I want time because you can always make money. Time is something you can't get more of, no matter how much money you have. So I do time rather than money because I think it's more important. People sell their time cheaply. People don't realize that time is so valuable, and they sell it for a cheap price. So the working 70, 80, 100 hours, that's not for me. I work the least amount possible, and you can just make money other ways. Data of accident rates and automatics versus manuals does not support this. Yeah, I just don't see it in cars. I love my 15 speed. Oh, I never liked 15 speeds. 10 with a 5 split. Yeah, I didn't like it. I never thought they geared it right, and usually the top 2 are overdrives in it. Not a fan. Maybe an oil field. All right, I could see it off-road or something, but no. So I can write that lot lizard off as personal training. My wife is not listening. That's your personal trainer, right? And I think you can you can FISA that, right, on the medical thing, where you get that extra money you can pay. Yeah, absolutely. 18 speeds are for strolling. Yeah, that's exactly correct. 15s are standard 10-speed with 5 deep reduction gears. I think that SR22 is filing your auto insurance or a non-owner liability policy. Once your license is reinstated, someone like May will hire you. Okay, try if May will hire you, that'd be better. Usually what I see SR22s from are DUIs, but I didn't say that here, and so I don't know if that's what it's from. And if that's what the problem is, that's a problem. I have a beer license. How do I upgrade to, what are you upgrading? In cars, they claim manuals better for miles. Not anymore. It used to be, yeah, manuals are great. Not anymore. They still get good. Look, when I get an Explorer as a loaner, and it gets 31 miles to the gallon on the highway going 75 miles an hour, I think that's pretty good. Call the DUI guy. He has a YouTube channel. Oh, is that true? Yeah, I mean, that'd be the way to do it. I don't know what to say about an SR22. Let's see. Being in Chicago, long local daily commute can be prohibitive. 2 hours round trip is not unheard of. I know. I don't know why people do that, Brian. Don't live far from work. I think the closer to work you live, the better off your life is going to be. Spending 10 hours a week in your car, going to a job that you probably don't even like that much is not a great plan. How long does a DAC last? Not drove it 13 years. Can they still see it? Oh, I don't know if it's on there permanently. You can get that changed. I'm only buying an 18-speed because I want something different. Maybe heavy haul. Yeah, people will love it. 15s were designed for dump truck and off-road use. That's where you usually see them. I'll have to get a receipt from that lizard to turn in for my health. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Health savings account. You just turn that license in, the receipt in. Absolutely. There's a lot of nuisance between auto and manual as to which is better. Nuance. I think that, automatics now shift just fine in the trucks. Why pay $32,000 for an automatic when you pay a third for a manual? Reason is fleets sell their crappy trucks when they start having to pay higher maintenance. That's what we do. Fleets get new trucks. At the end of warranty, they get rid of the truck. I agree. Do they take Apple Pay? Where do you tap to pay for that? Is there a sign that says tap to pay? My little car gets 21, but that's because of the way I drive. Too much foot in that turbo. May Trucking might hire you. 6.2 miles from work and love it. That's the way to do it, right? Couple songs on the way to work, and then maybe 3, and then 2 on the way home, and you got it made on channel 71, right? Sinatra Channel, I used to work for them. Their main terminal is near Salem, Oregon. Yeah, May is out on the West Coast if you're out there on the West Side. I will say that my company is going to make me come in and do stuff for them, and that is a huge problem. Of course, because they make you want to do that every day. So I do want to say blue parrot. If you wear it, of course, make it a parrot. Tons of people I still see on their phone, holding their phone. Stop doing that. Get some kind of headset. We forgot about Great Plains, but we shouldn't forget about groceries when we talk about moldy food. They'll fill you up with regular groceries. How about that? It's teal or no deal at GP Transco. You may not get a teal truck. Don't be offended if you get a truck that you may have to drive that's not your exact perfect truck for 2 weeks or whatever until they get you a truck. Holy mackerel. They're more accommodating than I would be. I'm like, there's your truck. Hit the road. And switch out in 2 weeks. That's got to be annoying for the company. But either way, that's the way they do it. And look, GP Transco still needs good drivers. Fleet Nav systems will soon be live, which we're waiting for. But they are all Geotab all the time, as now is the best time to get up to date on that. Cash is King Trucking is live more than anyone. He's live 14 times a day on YouTube. And go check him out over there for interesting trucking talk information, owner-operator information, miles, numbers, everything. And Jay's going to be live tomorrow, and he's live usually every day at 1 p.m. Are you going to be on a show? Go over and check Jay out. Right? What? Who's Jay? Yes, check Jay out. As I click things that I'm clicking. But I have to head out to work, as usual. They make me come out every day for some reason. She had a tattoo to tap with that arrow. Did it have the Apple sign on it? Yikes. Never saw a truck with an automatic reach of 1 million miles. Most are trashed. Well, because also a lot of them are company fleet trucks that don't get taken care of well. They do long oil change intervals here, and sometimes you can't even get it in on time. So they're like, we're busy. Come back later. So I think part of that's a big problem with a fleet truck if the company doesn't care that much about the truck too. So Fleet Nav system was first today, and then was first the other day. Misty was first today, which I appreciate. Jeanette, I want to thank you for coming in today. George Wilson was here. Oh, Cash is King Trucking, of course. Christina, it's good to see you today. Chris Keller, thanks for coming in today. And let's see, what am I doing here? Oh, Chef Matt was in, of course, cooking up some good comments. How about that? I did that pretty good. Linda, hello. It's good to see you today. Paul Vines, thank you for being in here today. Where am I? Aviator Trucker. Michael Muller was here today. Kelly was in today with a 30-inch neck. Maybe not. Alexander, it's good to see you. Hey, keep your foot out of that pedal so we can get some mileage. Holy moly. Kenneth, it's good to have you in today. Where am I going here? Oh, Jason Hall was here today. As I go down this list here that I'm seeing. And let's see. GP Transco, thank you for being here today. Where did I see this? Oh, Donkey Bite was in. I love that name, right? That's pretty good. And I'm going back, but I have to head out to work before they gripe at me too much as they make you come in every day. I do want to thank everybody for being here. And remember, tonight, the hours of service changes, okay? So get ready for the new hours of service, 30 minutes after 8 driving hours. That's the main one, 8 driving hours, not 8 hours. And it can be off-duty, on-duty, or sleeper berth. And remember, for some reason, no sleeper berth if you don't actually have a sleeper. Right? Seriously. Otherwise, we'll be live next week and more videos soon. Thank you for being here. Be safe out there, and we will see you again.